Hello, friends. Welcome to Roll to Quest, where you will experience authentic live D&D. That's how I'm starting from now on. With that, sorry about the off week last week. We had a wonderful snowstorm here in Utah, and it was bad enough that we decided it would be unsafe to drive. So that is why we did not play last week. As far as where we're at with before getting started, the only fun thing we have is shirts. We have our shirts now. I don't know if we have shirts and hoodies now, so you'll see them throughout the night if you can't see everyone. I don't know. Did you flip it to everyone?
We got Zephyr.
Currently, it's just me, Tiku, and Zephyr that actually.
We'll get there.
And then we have some hoodies as well.
Waiting
But
to see if Clay will survive.
we're doing great.
Clay Beekman.
Okay. With that though, that is pretty much it. So so last time.
Caleb. Or English. Shite.
Oh yeah, sorry. We had an Amber Alert just barely, and all of the phones went off, and it messed with everything. So that's why things are a little bit.
Like at the table.
That's why things are a little bit scuffed right now. So apologies for that. But with that being the case, last time, after experiencing the revelation of what Squawk has been doing for the past few years, and what by connection Razu has been doing, Razu seemed to have given up and almost given away to Squawk, who as of now seems to have effectively vanished from you. You have it on high authority that it is likely that he is back in Roslakar, specifically within the Rosilian lab. You guys worked with both with Thornscale to figure out a method of entering into Roslakar. He gave you some ideas, as well as tipped you off to some of the effectively headhunts that have been going on surrounding kobolds. From there, you had slightly unexpected guests the following day as you were kind of wrapping up for the day, when Theric and Kelmia returned with the Thornscale's bronze dragon, who both gave you guys some information. Glemdor was able to give more insight around dragon sickness, as well as what might be a potential cure for it, as Tiku now knows that she needs to consume a platinum dragon, or, as you figured out as you talked to him a little bit more, effectively the blood of a divine dragon. Apart from that, Theric has equipped Zephyr with a new arm and found a high level of intrigue in Cain and Gurgle's arcane hammer that was left behind, we'll say. That was left behind by Rudar. And although he had although he had a strong want for it, was impressed by your level of skill, and instead has elected to both work with you and offered basically to help train you guys if you ever elected to join him in Kalismir, specifically in Learbost. With that, he returned to the tent to work on a few additional gizmos and gadgets for all of you, and left you to your own devices. You were able to identify how to use effectively how to use the recall spell, activating the artifact of Serval specifically. Seems that he had linked it to Zestaria, and in order to activate it, you simply must use, effectively you just have to use the arcane's words for Zestaria Dearest, which would return you to the Rosilian lab. So from there, you practiced a little bit of arcane cooking. In addition to that, you came up with varying disguises going as far as taking some of you from a arcane human to a female Kenku. Some others not quite as severe as gaining elf ears and effectively a nose job, but all disguise yourselves to varying degrees. So with that, this would be waking up the following morning. You guys have just completed your long rest, if any of you did not already complete your long rest. And early in the morning, you actually would have been greeted not by Thornscale, but by one of his merchants who had come to collect all of you. Effectively, as you're waking up, he had come to each of you the message, basically just saying, now that Glemdor is here, we're actually looking to set out. So we have to clear the tent so we can gain mobility. And effectively, after explaining to each of you that effectively everyone is exiting the tent for the time being, he would have brought all of you, and this is where you guys would be meet up in the morning. He would have brought all of you outside of the tent, out of the Thornscale tent. As soon as everyone had actually grouped on the outside, for one, this actually gives you a more so accurate depiction of the number of Thornscale merchants. Is when you encountered them previously in Ravenshold, they filled up what was effectively a level of a bar, and you were told that they had rented out the tavern. But this small village now has close to 300 individuals that are all standing outside. Some of them waking up, some of them very obviously nursing hangovers, headaches from their celebrations the previous evening. As you watch what is the smaller tent that was effectively bolted to the ground, rather than having someone walk up and like unbolt and effectively start to pack up the tent, Thornscale standing out front seems effectively to finish what is mainly a somatic spell, and the picks or the no, there would be pickets. The pickets dug into the ground almost seem to retract into the tent. The sides of it almost like pick up, almost starting to make it look more of like a tarp. The pickets, the ropes attached to them almost seem to fling out above it and almost hang like a tarp that has been latched to a ceiling with ropes. At this point, you see the bronze dragon soar just above it and effectively just reaches out and grabs each of them. As he grabs the ropes, they almost seem to wrap around his arms in like a spiral fashion, and he almost seems to like pick it up closer to his chest, and then it wraps around his torso as well. As soon as this weird metamorphosis of the Thornscale tent happens, the entrance to it seems to almost the tent flap on it almost seems to fold out, almost looking like a makeshift slide that you go off on a bed. And Thornscale at this point, kind of pointing to it, he says, "Well, everyone's welcome to enter back in. Really, just load up, prepare to leave. We'll be leaving in just a few hours as soon as I am able to finish up with our guests." And Thornscale approaches your group and says, "So, from I am still understanding correctly, the plan is you intend to activate the tool, this recall device, to just enter into Roslakar directly and perform your makeshift jailbreak, yes?"
Yep.
Well, I have good news and bad news at the same time. And he reaches to his side and he pulls out 2 vials. And he says, "So the good news is he was able to finish some of this. Speaking of Theric, he was not quite able to finish the devices. That's the bad news. He said that he will have them delivered to all of you. If he is unable to locate you, he plans to send them to your seat in Zinderhold. But for the time being," and he holds out these two what appear to be health potions. He says, "For the time being," he said, as a temporary placeholder, as he was a little too distracted with the news that he got last night, he instructed me to give you these. These are effectively replenishing healing potions. Each of them is equivocal to what most people would refer to as a greater healing potion, or apologies, one is a greater, one is a superior. There's enough for effectively 3 uses in each vial, and these particular healing potions effectively, similar to an alchemy jug, recreate their liquid."
Wow.
So he said that he hopes this will help you in the meantime, and then for the rest of the gifts, he apologized, but it seems that more news had arrived of, I believe he said, or Kalmia informed me that it was Saga's brother?
Yes.
Yes, something arose surrounding him, and they had to leave late in the night. I didn't feel it was worth waking you, as Kalmia said you had more pressing matters to attend to. But with that is the only news they left me with. They left rather abruptly. A saga appeared last night. Had a slight meeting, and then she, along with Kelmia and Theric, left. I believe they were heading to the I believe it's called Zarthek. One of the only lands that I am unfamiliar with. There isn't much trade that goes in and out of it. With that, is there anything else that I could do for all of you? I feel you have a slightly daunting task ahead of you.
Nah, that'll be fine. I'm good at this kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, the only extra piece of information that I could give you is based on the company that you bring with you. If you are questioned heavily, my recommendation would... You asked if you could use my name in Razlakar, and while I don't believe that would be that beneficial to you, and certainly not to me, I believe referencing his guardian, Odostrom, would actually do you a great service, as his position within the Razilian, both the Razilian chapel as well as the lab, is quite high, you could say.
The only problem is the
Utrophone.
disguise we're going under. Would we even have a connection to Obitustrom?
Yeah, we're friends of his kid.
Well, he is correct that he is disguised currently as a Kenku. However, the Kenku he has chosen would also be familiar with Odostrom, for what it's worth. And then in addition to that, Razlakar is different from most kingdoms in how it functions. There isn't a king or a crown. There isn't even a palace in your traditional sense. The Razilian chapel truly runs all of Razlakar, and much of the trade really in the whole mountain range. Actually, they even, due to the choke point that they hold on the roads, widely influence the trade going into both Plazet as well as the Tower of Mistra. So that is all to say, even if you don't have a strong connection, if you were simply to verbalize that, they likely would bring you to him, as they don't have a firm law in place. It's more so everything for the chapel or the school, I guess would be a better way to describe it. So it would at least make so you only have to bluff one rather than perhaps a whole group of people.
Odostrom is that one?
Odostrom is a member of... Effectively, you could think of him as a member of a council that runs all of Razlakar. While he is not the leader of the Razilian chapel, he holds a high seat, and he is currently the acting head of the Razilian laboratory.
Hey Nate, I need a smaller recap on your character. It's been 2 weeks.
What's your name and what do you look like, real quick? As well as how are you familiar with Razlakar, as a quick reminder for everyone.
Kaio. I'm a about 6-foot elf with arcanic looking runes carved onto my face.
Talking to the mic.
Black hair and just seem to be wearing merchant's clothing. And then he has a shadow bag at his side.
Shadow bag?
It's a bag that you look in and you just endless black abyss.
So bag of
So
old.
it has like a shape. It has like a shape of a bag, and it's just like shadows, or is it like?
How I'm flavoring it is effectively my shadow.
I'm so confused.
Then
Clarify.
So is it on your?
the answer is no. The answer to this is his shadow almost seems to have a thickness to it. Rather than being cast on the ground, it's almost as if there's a...
So currently we have no idea what that is.
No,
unless he starts pulling stuff out of it.
It would effectively just be that his shadow on the ground almost looks like it's like a quarter of an inch off the ground. Not to the point that in a glance, like it almost feels like something's off, but you can't know unless you
Only
really
our
look at
most
it.
highly perceptive people realize this.
Yes.
Okay. And
That said, he currently looks like a Kenku.
A female one at that.
And description was trusted merchant that works with Thornscale currently, and he is from Rosalcar, grew up in Rosalcar, and he was taken in by Oldestrom.
And how do you fight? Did we discuss that?
He's, yes. He's both frontline and range.
Said he could
I'm
hold
not
his.
mistaken.
He said he could hold his own on the front line. He does not need to hang in the back. That is all he really gave you.
Okay.
And the one other thing he did not mention there, is the last recap there, is that he is or was a friend of Squawk.
Yeah.
He was a friend of Squawk, and so he's a friend of both Squawk and Serval. And he's going basically to see
company.
what's going on with Serval. You basically
Squawk.
told him, or yes, I almost did it again. With Squawk. You basically told him, if we kill him, what are you going to do? And he said that he's simply looking to confirm what's going on. He's not out to stop you, nor is he necessarily out to help you. He has his own reasons for going back to Rosalcar.
Technically, he said that if what was said, or if the rumors were true, he'd kill him himself.
He did say he would help you if the rumors ended
But
up being
if the
true.
rumors aren't true and we kill him, that's okay too, right?
At this point, he's holding our friend hostage. We don't have a choice.
Are you guys past negotiating?
Pretty much at this point.
We just tried that and it failed.
And if he's willing to talk to you now, would you give him the time?
I don't see why things would have changed in 24 hours.
And we'll consider it right before I blow him up.
Well, I already told you.
Just try to leave us out of this one.
I've been very good about that lately, okay?
If the crimes he's committed is worthy of the deed, I'm fine with it. But I find myself a lawful man. If I think you guys to be doing a truly evil deed, you know I will try to stop you.
And we will consider you collateral damage.
You could try.
Zephyr's just trying to scare you.
Who does
He
that
would
to everyone?
not
I
kill
mean-
someone doing what they believe is right. Unless he believes it wrong.
Well, hold on.
Unless my god deems it otherwise.
Since when?
I was trying to do a dramatic pause. It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Hold on, King. How long has it been?
I
Hold on
wasn't.
here. Didn't he?
The whole sentence.
Also, he smiled at a bunch of poor beggars that just wanted his gold.
Point being, I do believe Squawk has done something unforgivable.
The long
But if I find that he has not, and you try to kill him regardless, I will try to stop you.
So, you think Razu has done something unforgivable, but if evidence comes out that he was innocent of those allegations, you will then protect Razu from retaliation.
Well, it's
Let's
Squawk.
just say this. I think he's done something unforgivable. Those are the rumors going around.
Yes, we established
But let's say someone was impersonating him and it never was him, and you intend to kill him off of something he didn't do.
that. So only if he was being
obviously,
impersonated.
I believe,
Effectively.
I believe
So
we're
no
not-
You
other-
guys say
What
you're
about mind
sure he
control?
did it. What are you worried about?
I don't believe we're talking about Razu, but Squawk here, right? Like,
Yeah, we're not talking about
We're
Roger.
trying to kill
Who's
Squawk, not Razu.
Who's the other guy?
It's a
inside?
very long story.
Oh, right.
Alternate personality.
The answer is it doesn't matter. If you're sure he did something wrong, what are you worried about?
And what about taking
Apparently
you
it
and
just
having us
started
turn
snowing.
on us?
It's very whimsy.
I'm a lawful man.
I said so.
I told you. If he's truly done these
I'm going to be
deeds,
honest. We're not the most lawful group.
so I've heard,
Then why would we take you?
because I can get you in.
But it also sounds like you're just going to turn on us.
So
Again,
hold on.
if he did
Would it
something wrong,
would
which
it
you
be
said you've
lawful for you
confirmed,
to sneak us in?
Oh, that's true. That does seem to go against your code here.
What is this game? of
we'll
40
just say
questions?
my own laws. I don't murder people who have done nothing wrong. Especially not a
Then
friend.
my laws say that Squawk needs to die.
So they're not
Okay.
actually
My point being, you
laws,
told me
as
he
they're
took
like a
your friend
personal
and has
code of
murdered-
ethics.
Stop talking over each other.
and has murdered dozens of kobolds. That is a deed I deem worthy of the death penalty. So what are you worried about?
Well, we're just trying to
If
figure
you're
out.
sure you know what you saw,
What are you worried about?
So your laws that you follow is more like your own personal code of ethics, and not
Yes,
actually
it's my
laws.
own personal moral guidelines.
So not laws per se.
Yes, we'll say it's not laws. Sneaking people in to save their friends, from my understanding, is not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, but it can be
My shit's
against the
fucked.
law.
Sure, lawful is the wrong word. Apologies. But again, Zephyr, you told me yourself, he's killed dozens of Tiku's friends and has kidnapped current friends that are still alive.
Well, Zephyr,
If he has done these things, then why are you worried?
Zephyr, it looks like
I feel like I didn't say most of those things, but
Zephyr's projecting a little bit. Kyle, is that how I say your name?
Since it doesn't sound like he's going to turn us in.
I just don't want to kill another party member, okay?
Since it sounds like he's not going to turn us in, and he operates more in a gray area by
So
his
it's
own
all right
moral
if
code of ethics instead of actual like.
I'm trying to stop this before it happens, okay, Kane?
I've told you my moral guidelines. I've told you he was my friend. Maybe that's changed. I'm going to go figure that out. Just because we're still friends, if he's done something unforgivable, that doesn't mean I'm gonna let him off the hook. So, is we clear?
We're just keep a real close eye on you.
Sure, I don't care. If you didn't, you'd be stupid.
Zephyr's projecting
Wait,
a little bit
wait,
because
hold on.
he has a tendency to attack.
Now that kind of
teammates.
sounds like a threat.
Always watch your back with somebody you don't know. You should know that. You're a merchant. You'd be a dumbass not to. I fully understand your
we're trying to take
caution.
you in as part of a team member, then we're supposed to have trust amongst our comrades.
Do you
And
trust
now you're-
Thornscale?
Who's Thorns? Oh, of course I do. He's a business partner.
He told you to trust me. What more do you need?
Well, the
If
things you're
Thornscale-
saying is a little questionable, and I'm not the one that's saying I don't trust you.
May I
He is.
ask?
Okay, Zephyr.
The
Let
point
me
of
lay it
this
out for you.
argument.
Do you trust Thornscale?
I'm just making it clear if he comes with us, he may be collateral damage.
That's fine.
Okay.
He's aware of that.
Okay.
Do you know what
We're
the term
bringing him
collateral
along
damage means?
because he knows of the city. That is the only reason.
Zephyr's interpretation of collateral damage is anybody in the way of his lightning bolt.
It's true. That's kind of what I mean by that.
Do not stand in front of him when he's casting spells.
Or around me, or maybe a mile away.
You sound like the most delightful party member.
Tiku wants to go.
I don't really think so.
I think that's
agree
a
with
good
Tiku.
idea, Tiku. We need to bust
I'm
the
sure
friends
your
out.
party's glad that you have their back.
Thank you, Mr. Thornscale,
No, they're
for
more
the
just
help.
kind of terrified about it, actually.
Thornscale at this point has actually been effectively directing people to load into their tent. As you call out to him, though,
Tiku tugs on his ropes.
he stops what he's doing, turns with most of the merchants loaded back up, only a dozen or so still outside. He says, "It is always my pleasure, Tiku. As I said before, I hope that you are able to find something to help out your affliction within Razlakar. However, if you're not, my offer stands. We currently make for Zinderhold. Depending on how quickly you are able to complete your mission, perhaps you can find us there. If not, I plan on trying to rekindle our current trade agreements with Zoprakar following our stint in Zinderhold. Just depending on how long it takes you, that is likely where you could find us. Apart from that, you're always welcome to send a messenger for me as well, even if it ends up being after there. Hoping you... Assuming you're still around that long, which I hope to be the case, we're only ever a message and a spell away, you could say.
Right. Tiku appreciates you. Also, good job. I think I look pretty good.
He uses a broad smile. He says, I do feel like I did pretty good work. And yeah. And he holds out a bronze coin to you, but it's not like your typical currency coin. The coin that he has given to you almost like seems kind of flattened out on two edges of it. Almost looks like to the point that someone's had it in their hand and they've rubbed it so many times with just enough force that it's almost like kind of just smushed out the two pieces of it. And on the face of it is a dragon rather than your typical bronze coin. And he says, my favorite good luck charm. And as he puts it in his hand, he like leaves his finger on it for a moment. He says, This does mean a lot to me. I want you to have it, but for what it's worth, it is something that I would like returned to me, assuming that all goes well.
Go and make sure it gets back to you, even if it doesn't.
It is my insurance to make sure I see you again. His almost ever-present smile again goes. It for the first time. It actually almost seems to go to almost more of a straight face, and he says, "Best of luck to you, Tiku, and to all of you. I have loved working, in particular with you, Zephyr, but by proxy with all of you for the last 5 years. I would be most remiss if any of you did not return. And for those with new budding relationships. Best of luck." And at this point,
And to you.
he turns and
As he would
also enters into the
start
tent.
walking away, I would say, "No good luck, charm for me. Unfortunate." With a slight chuckle as we would just start walking away.
He just shakes his head as he's walking away, as he has worked with you for more than 5 years. And you guys are once again left alone.
So, before we get going, what's our story exactly? I know we were talking about maybe like
We're personal. I got it.
Being
I got it.
workers
I
for-
thought of this for weeks. Okay. Literal
What?
mental weeks
I
in
am
my
the
head.
elf merchant Beak Clayman.
And we are a group of acolytes coming to the prestigious school recommended by the famous.
That doesn't go well with my character.
well,
My
merchants.
character's Beak Clayman,
I would know that
elven
my
merchant, not an alkali.
so we're going to sign up for school.
You
So
go to
he is
you go to the
escorting
main
us.
school so that you can make money because everything in Razlakar goes to the church.
Which church?
Or we paid him to escort
Razlakarian
us.
church.
The Razlakarian Church. Oh,
What's it called?
The Brazilian Chapel is...
Brazilian Chapel.
This actually runs it. And the answer is the chapel is dedicated to magic, and so you would find worshippers of Mistra and Azoth in there. However, it's not necessarily dedicated to one. It is dedicated to magic.
So, collateral. What
So
do you think?
we're here.
I would know that
yeah, but it's
Sleka
not,
would be known
not
in the
temple
chapel.
of Wazreen, who
Assuming.
is the deity of merchants
Right,
and wealth.
right. But
Could be.
we're there to learn so that we can establish trade.
The answer some people would.
Or at least in your case. For us, we just want to learn about magic.
And we hired the merchant to get us there. Or,
I like that. But,
Or
but
we all just met up and found out we were going to the same place, so we traveled together.
We already said that we were all part of the Silver Scales, a merchant company. That's what we're all disguised as.
Or you just tie in
Yeah,
a
that's
truth.
this.
We're going there to meet Squawk.
Yeah, that's
I'm
great.
currently
That sounds-
impersonating Squawk's wife.
That kind
You
of-
guys are friends. That Squawk instructed Sleka to come bring and meet him.
Squawk's wife is
Makes
dead.
perfect sense.
Squawk's wife is dead.
From what I know, nobody knows that.
We know
I'm
that.
pretty sure
knows
Squawk
that?
would know that.
Also,
Do you
Squawk
think
knows that.
Squawk would just spread that information around? Point is anyone who isn't Squawk would find that just
but
fine
once-
information.
But once
Squawk would
Squawk
know.
learns that
Yes.
there's someone claiming to be his wife, he is going to be immediately suspicious.
You truly believe he doesn't think we're coming after him?
Well, true, but
He
we don't
knows
want to
we're
tip
coming
our
after him.
hand.
I'm pretty sure he actually told us to.
From
fairly
my
certain he did.
understanding, he would be the only one that would know that this is not the case. In
Okay.
which case, he would know we're coming. Sure, I wasn't told we were going for a sneak attack.
well, we do want to bust out the kobolds.
Why are we all dressed up if
for
it's
you,
not for a
Kyle.
sneak attack? Oh, crap.
He vanished from an anti-magic domain. Which means he is capable of teleporting without magic.
It's called alchemy. He's the best in his field. He's done things people never knew was possible.
Which means that a sneak attack might be the only way to get the drop on him. Because what's to prevent him from just vanishing again?
You know, you're right. But from what I know of him, I don't think he's gonna run.
He already ran once.
He's been running his entire life.
I mean, it seems like he's been
I mean,
traveling with you for 5 years.
Goal number one is for sure to
hiding.
bust out the kobolds. Everybody agrees with that, right?
Our
For sure.
goalie's heading for the kobolds.
Goal number one is to bust out the kobolds. If we interact with Squawk, great. If not, also
Well,
fine.
I mean, goal number 2 is to try to get Razu, right? Or is he a lost cause at that point if we can't just find him?
I don't
easily?
know if we need to
Chica.
get Razu. per
Chico
se.
has
Well,
Razu.
You have Razu.
What?
What do you mean you have Razu?
I have him.
What do you...
And what are you showing us?
She's currently holding up effectively what appears to be almost like a blue and white small puff of fire in her hand.
And then I absorb it back in.
We just need
It's
the
almost as if
body.
she casted a fire spell out of her hand.
What was
I
that?
don't understand it.
We need Squawk's
I
body.
try to blow it out.
Who's Quack's
So she-
wife?
She already absorbed it.
Oh,
Okay, so many steps have been skipped here.
We need Razu's body.
Why?
Razu's okay, so we need to find Razu still then.
We need, if we want to save Razu and get rid of Squawk.
Are you saying you possess Razu's soul?
Yes.
How did you get Razu's soul? Isn't it still in his body?
It was given to me.
Well,
By who?
Packer.
Oh. So it means his soul was lost and the Packer
I thought
claimed
Squawk
it.
wouldn't allow Razu's soul to become lost based on what he was saying.
I'm so confused.
There's a lot
unless
of,
Squawk was lying.
I mean
well,
he does.
There's a lot of questions.
I'm sure he's not above lying.
We still need, if we're going to save Razu, we need the body.
So we need to kill
No,
Squawk
not,
Razu.
not kill. We need to detain and bring back.
Oh, I thought you said the body, not the like.
Well, all of it.
You want us to conk him out?
So
We need to conk him out.
subdue Squawk somehow.
First, kobolds.
Did you say seduce?
Subdue.
Squawk.
Subdue.
Yes.
I mean, if you're capable of seducing him, that would probably work too. Actually, you're probably better off in that regard at the moment.
Dressed as his wife and all. Though that'd be really weird because he's in his kid's body.
Wife's.
Wife's body.
No, Squawk.
No, Squawk
Squawk
is
is
in
his-
his body.
Oh. Oh.
That's true. That would be really weird.
Get real Games of Thronesy.
hilarious. Point being, is I've taken on this disguise because I'm quite sure Squawk will not take to it lightly. He will come
To kill
to
you.
us, and I'm assuming he's going to talk because he's an intellectual. He'll want to know why at the very least.
Before it turns you into a horrible monster and experiment.
I mean, sure, good job. You looked at the dark side of things. Point being, with this plan, nobody's going to question why we're there. It's got partial truth in it, which is a lot easier to lie when it's got partial truth in it. And it will draw Squawk to us. And from what I can tell, you're looking for him.
I mean, it's also true that I could be considered an acolyte of the Black Mage.
Sure, you can be an
He
acolyte.
did give me his book.
We could all be acolytes, looking for Squawk.
Sorry, I gotta make a comment. You're saying I'm looking at the dark side. Actually, I think that's the bright side, sadly.
You just got a depressing outlook on life, apparently.
No. You'll find out.
So, speaking of books, I'm pretty sure there is a demographic of people that would buy a genre of a
Okay,
romanticized
Gargo,
version
can
of
we
our
go,
plan.
please?
We could call it Birds of a Feather.
Yes, yes, we can go.
So
I'm actually good with this.
One
Here.
question, just real quick. What does everyone currently look like? What did we disguise ourselves as? Because
Okay, yeah,
now
so-
I'm very
Oh,
confused.
I am-
So I don't think we ever really came to consensus
I thought
last
we
time.
were
Chico
doing
is.
elections.
Like
Chico
we
is.
were like kind of talking about it. I think that's generally what we were pushing for.
I have
That's what I'm currently disguised as, is a silver scale
But we
merchant.
technically swapped to anything we want, right? Like
I have
it's not like we
a-
don't have the time.
Clay Beekman with a larger nose, prosthetic, curled mustache,
Yeah, I remember what you look like. I
elf
just,
ears, and he's going by Beak
he's
Clayman.
casualty of war.
So he's Squawk's wife.
Kenku, halfling.
Okay.
Sleka?
Beak Clayman.
Sleka.
So
Elven
are,
merchant.
Kelmia lookalike.
okay. So as I have no idea. I was trying to figure out what the party was doing. That's why I never chose.
I'm a halfling. It looks red. I'm the younger sister of Kelmia.
Okay. So
Water.
we're going as merchants or acolytes.
I was under the impression
I'm going
we were
as
doing
merchant.
Consensus. So merchant. Merchant.
With
or
the
no, you said
laboratory,
acolyte.
them wanting to look for supplies,
What-
I think
what do you
makes a
want?
lot more sense.
What do you want? Merchant.
Merchant.
This is out of character right now.
Merchant.
Okay.
Makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense to me.
I don't care. I
So merchant.
Sure. I'll go merchant.
even if we go
I'm just gonna
merchant,
I'm just gonna vote merchant to get the vote done.
Okay.
we can also we could also have, like I said, we traveled together because we were students looking for it. We traveled with a merchant caravan or like a merchant group
But
to
what are
stay
we going
safe.
in as? Like, I don't care what we travel as.
The backstory doesn't really matter. We need to know what we are.
Yeah. Are we merchants? If we're merchants, then fine. We can be merchants.
Pretty sure consensus is we're silver scale merchants.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we
Okay.
selling and why are we going to the school?
We're looking to buy people. Genetically superior people.
Sure.
Okay. Actually, that
Yes,
might get us. That actually might get us to the
I'm
kobolds.
a-
So that might
I
not be
am
a bad idea.
Beak Clayman,
Or at least in the right
failed
area.
wine merchant. That rapscallion Clay Beakman has run me out of business. I need a superior human to get my revenge. That's my backstory.
Superior specimen. We're looking for kobolds.
Honestly, it's not bad.
That's right, Clay Beakman.
Beak
Beak
claimant.
claiming.
Oh,
Beak
Beak
claimant.
Clayman.
By the way, are you like rival siblings or?
No, I'm an elf. He's
Okay, but like.
I'm not an elf, but I'm
with
human.
What's with the
but-
similarity in names?
So Clay.
So are you a
myself,
half
Clay
elf?
Beakman's a human.
So you're a
My
half elf.
persona.
You're a
My
half elf
persona.
brother.
No, full elf rival, not related.
So wait.
Why do you have the same
was
name?
Clay Beakman
No,
like your
no,
your mentor?
we don't have the same name. His name is
Oh,
Beak
was Clay
Clayman.
Beakman? Yeah, you're Clay Beakman's
Was Clay
mentor.
Beak-
Yeah, there you
was
go.
Clay
That might work.
Beakman your mentor or vice versa?
No, he was my rival. He ran me out of business. He makes better wine.
Yeah, but why is the names close to each other? That's
What are you
gonna
talking
get
about? Why
asked.
is the name so? The names aren't even similar at all.
They're reversed.
No.
Yes.
If they were reversed, I'd
Okay,
be.
the first
I'd be
name and the
Beakman
last
Clay.
name are swapped.
No, because I'm going persona as Beak Clayman. That is a different name.
Persuasion
Zephyr.
check, please. And then
Zephyr,
Can we
Zephyr,
please get this
here,
show on the
hold
road?
hold this doll,
I'm gonna cast passive.
and then I need you to read this
Just as a passive close to our stealth, so that way when we pop in,
Why?
go with it just for a little bit.
out loud for everybody to hear, please.
The Staria dearest?
I assume your party is the 5 creatures.
You have to choose 5 creatures
Oh yeah.
other than yourself.
as you're holding this this effective doll of Zestaria, and you read as you read out Zestaria dearest, the doll immediately starts to unravel at a rapid pace. The strings from the doll almost like in an explosion just kind of and just reach out. And for each of you, if you're not willing, it effectively would be that you dodge. As this doll explodes and these strings almost wrap each of you, it's like this doll swallows you. As it just kind of and pulls all of you into a similar gut-wrenching feel in your stomach, as it almost feels like you're crushed in on yourself. Before you're now standing in what is a fairly odd room. The room itself is an octagon in shape. The roof is a good 20 feet above you, and there are seemingly one of the walls of the octagon literally just has a line of clocks. There are different like grandfather clocks. There seem to be almost like ticking ones. There's one that seems to almost be like slowly going down with 2 bags, a weight pulley system that a window higher up in the room seems to be shining on, slowly almost burning through some kind of a substance that is causing it to slowly shift. There's a table that has papers that are neatly stacked, a book shut with a lock on the tip of it. There is a good like 6 separate large chests that are scattered through, or that are scattered against the walls. And the middle of the room, while largely empty, it has a massive, effectively, it looks like a summoning circle with multiple different arcane runes that are, just as you notice them, the light in them seems to be dying down. There's one door exiting or leaving the room. Doesn't actually have a handle. Just looks. It almost looks like it is just on hinges.
A swing door.
Yes, either magically sealed or perfectly balanced. There is no individuals alive inside. However, as soon as you all appear and you kind of, that feeling in your stomach goes away, you immediately hear a yes. And you kind of like look over. There is a doll roughly about this big. That is a doll of Serval, who now looking at each of you as he's now turned towards you. There's small strings that go off of his fingers that within moments seem to go out of sight. But especially for those of you with higher perception, can see the strings seem to connect to these different like clock mechanisms. Some of the cabinets that have different vials and books in them have strings on them. His hands kind of outstretched, and he goes, "You're not master. Who all of you?"
Yes.
I am Beak Clayman, elven wine merchant that was run out of business from that rapscallion Clay Beekman.
Would I know of this?
You're not Zestoria, the little one. Not the bird. Wait, hold.
We are friends of Zestoria.
He runs under one of the tables, and there's almost like a metal container, and he like almost like pops the lid off of it, and air starts to bleed out from it. And he goes, all right. Pressure, going down. Not the steps that I was informed would be next, but there was a plan for the. He kind of climbs up another table as you jump down, goes to the book that is locked, and reaches down, unbuckles the lock, opens the book, which is currently just open to a page that just has a few different words on it, quickly flips through to a page and starts reading through these through.
Does he read it aloud?
He does not, and also he seems to read incredibly fast. As he flips to it, he kind of like, wonderful, and then he shuts the book. What's up?
Would I be familiar with Serval's chamber?
No one other than the masters typically enter their chambers, or individuals that they've been invited by them. You would not have been invited in here, as when you knew Serval, he was not a master. As he shuts the book, he reclasps it and he goes, all right, well, it seems you still fall under the parameters that Serval had planned for. He said that perhaps it'd be Zestoria or maybe some friends looking to help her, as she's not well. She hasn't been doing well for some time. Are you the ones coming to save her?
Yes.
Save her from once. From what we understand, she is free and well.
She was alive.
No. He goes back to the book and unclasps it, flips to the pages again, finds one, stops, seems to read through it very quickly.
She's broken.
And read?
Did you come over and you start to read, attempt to read over his shoulder? Do you read Elvish?
Yes.
Okay. With how fast he reads, you're not able to read nearly as much as what he is. But the page that he has turned to quite literally looks like an instruction manual almost. At the top of it, it says, if they are unaware of Zestaria's current whereabouts or health status, these are the next steps you should take. First one says, educate them on the experiment's beginning. And then the next one says, guide them, and then that's where you get to before he kind of shuts it, and not in like trying to hide it from you. He just like finishes it, shuts it, clasps it again, and turns and goes, all right, it seems you do not know what is going on. Zestoria is unwell. What you have met is what you have met is me, but in her, it is a part of her, as I am a part of Serval.
A sprig.
Yes, a experiment. Zestaria, the true Zestaria, is incomplete. Housed here. He said someone would come to help save her and complete her again.
I just had an image of like Zephyr's coming in as a white knight to save Zestaria.
I'm like looking
I'm
over.
like, oh no.
The prophecy is true.
What do you need to do to save her?
Well, first you must free her. Initially, Serval agreed to Squawk's plan because it was the only way he knew how to make her strong again. But the curse was not what they initially thought, and while he wanted to end it, he wasn't able to. He took a piece and tried to make that piece strong so that when it returned to the whole, it would be completed again, but I don't believe it was successful. Connection to him has since ceased.
What's peace and what curse?
How strong is the magic holding? He seems to he quite literally seems to start multiple times where he goes, the piece is I don't know. I knew once. My main centerpiece is gone. Destroyed. Don't know what happened. Must keep Zestaria from suffering same fate.
And what's the curse?
So you're saying your prime vessel has been destroyed?
Yes. Zestaria's prime vessel is here. Her piece is scattered. I am a piece, and my main is gone. My connection faded some years ago. I know not what happened.
How long has she been here?
He looks over to the clocks and he kind of starts to move his hands a little bit. The strings almost pulling to different pieces of the clocks, and almost seems as if he's trying to count them as he pulls them in sequence. And he goes, 15, 12, just over decade, maybe a decade and a half.
Has it been just over a decade and a half with time nonsense since they were in Zinderhold?
It's been about
or is it
8 years since the games, if I'm not mistaken.
It's been about nine and a half years actually. It's almost to a decade since the games. Because we had a 2-year time skip as well as the 4-year time skip.
Okay,
3-year
and
time
then
skip.
now
Where's the 4-year time skip?
Inside the dome.
Inside the dome.
Now, if I'm thinking about
That'd be 7.
time,
No, there's 5 years in the 5 years in the games, and then 2 years in the dome.
There is also the time that was in the games. This 8 months of travel. The answer is it's been about nine and a half months since the games.
9.5 years.
Since the start of the games or end of the games?
Since the start of the games.
Okay.
Okay. Question: how old was Zestaria? Because I don't remember. How old was Zestaria when? I mean, I can roll a history check if you want from this. How old was Zestaria when she was buried and the body we?
She was
recovered
around
stuff?
8 when she was buried.
She was about 8 years old when she was taken from. So when the game started, Zestaria would have been about 8 years old at
That's
this point.
incorrect. 12 is when the game started. Is how old she was. 8 years old was the body that we found.
Yes,
buried.
yes. Apologies.
That's right.
This is also a pre-stream of when they figured out that someone had faked Zestaria's death and basically planted a double. But so when the games started, so at this point, and this does line up with Zestaria as well, she'd be in her early 20s. To answer your question, the curse is the curses of the sea. The froth will take over. She would become one with the sea. We had to stop it, contain her, contain the others. But it did not meet end goal. This is why you must save her. Save the others.
Does this ring any bells to you?
How?
I mean, her dad's a
How
snake
save
person
others?
that worships a sea creature.
Yes, that's the
How
only thing
save
that
others?
seems to have anything to do with it. Maybe a blood relationship, a pact that he made with the creature may have some claim over her. That might be what's going
Oh,
on.
snaps! That Theron gave his own daughter away to get power.
Maybe not knowingly at the time, potentially. Maybe he was swindled in some way.
He didn't really seem like the kind of guy that would sell his daughter for power. He seemed like the kind of guy that would sell his power for his daughter, but maybe I was just misinterpreting him the whole time.
That's true. I have been a bad judge of character when it came to Theron. But it's
I mean, he
neither here nor
literally
there,
killed a
though.
prince so that he could bring his dead wife back to life.
How safe? Others.
They must return the pieces. They
How
must
return?
become whole.
How return? Like,
Dude,
or like,
You're supposed to guide
or
us.
like.
Guide us how?
He jumps off the table again, walks over to one of the chests and opens it up, reaches inside, and then he pulls out a bronze key, roughly about this big, kind of like holding it out. He walks up to you, 'cause you're the one who talked. And he says, "This is a key to underground lab. You will find the truth of the experiments. The reason Serval had to leave."
Where are the labs? How do we get there?
They are. You watch as some of the strings that are attached to his fingers almost seems to start to snap. As they snap, there's almost like faint little bits of almost like a black mist that kind of. Time is short. The labs are underground, under this. Another one of the strings snap.
Okay,
I know
it's
where
okay.
they
Just
are. That's why
calm
I'm
down,
here.
Norman.
Don't waste your breath. You said that we're not the bird. What part did Squawk play in this?
Squawk was supposed to be a friend. Squawk used Serval in the story. Another one of the strings snap, and it seems the doll seems to become less mobile. As it turns towards the table, like looking towards the book, and kind of takes a step, but then almost seems to freeze.
Use bardic inspiration on him, as I would
Tico
like
picks him up and brings
spark
him
some shadow magic and just blow it on him.
Tico's gonna pick him up and bring him towards the book.
Okay, as you pick him up and bring him over to the book, he kind of like looks over to you. His mouth sewn into place as he is a doll. He just seems to try to kind of nod to you. He reaches out, unbuckles it, as his right arm no longer seems to be moving, and starts to flip through the pages. This time more slowly, as he seems to be losing mobility, and he gets to he takes it about 3/4 of the way through the book, and then he stops on a page and points towards the top of it. And he says,
Tico grabs the book and shows it to somebody, whoever's the closest.
I would be.
It's in
reading it.
Elvish, I believe.
I can.
Whoever's the closest.
if you've kind of grabbed the book, you notice that he is no longer moving. He's pointing where it was.
I
but
would
this doll,
go look at where he's pointing.
whatever the magic that was animating this doll and holding them together, seems to now be gone.
Kane, what does it say?
What he has pointed to is effectively the outline of an experiment via a journal log. It is an entry from Serval. It says, I thought Squawk was a friend to me, and that he was going to do his best to help me save that which was to be lost. I promised I'd save the little girl I found, and now what was initially thought to be the cure that I so desperately needed and wanted, I've learned now was nothing but a stepping stone to him. I've taken the centerpiece, the most important part, with me, and I intend to make a new home for her until I'm able to figure out how to deal with the monstrosities that he has created here I don't know how to end the experiment, but I know that if this is not stopped, this would likely be the end of perhaps all of Altira, perhaps a return to the dark days.
He made a promise to, I'm assuming Zestaria. He does not mention her by name, but context. He made a deal with Squawk to try and cure her. Squawk developed this cure successfully, but kept it from Saval, utilizing it himself. Saval, realizing Squawk's true nature, I guess, took this Astaria we know, as she is the biggest part of Zestaria, the closest to the whole, you could say, and hid her from Squawk. He's trying to find a cure, or I guess he was.
I would look over the book and look for the sickness that she was afflicted with.
As you start to look through the book, the rest of it is blank. In fact, you turn the page and look at the following page, and kind of confused as it's blank and there were words there before. You flip back to the page with the entry that you had, and that page is now also blank.
Damn it, Serval, why are you so secretive all the time?
I would just head for the door and look around and try to map out where I would need to go to get to the laboratory.
So are you going to exit the room?
I would then go for the door.
Okay.
Well, let's go to the lab. I should know where it is.
Are we sure that the piece that he's referencing is her? Did he specifically say it was her?
Tiku's gonna.
I mean,
He did not specifically say, I will admit, but again, based upon context, I no longer have the passage, so I have to go based upon memory. But based upon context, it is this Astaria we knew.
What if the piece was something that Squawk needed for the experiment? And that's why Squawk hasn't been able to find it.
Because Astaria's
I feel like
keeping
he
out of
could
his
have.
reach.
I feel like he could have found Zestaria pretty easy. She's been around quite a lot.
I mean, ultimately, we just need to go check, right?
I think getting eyes on
Well-
the situation would be better.
Actually,
Tiku's
you
gonna.
guys want to help me find a keyhole? I
Keyhole.
reach in there and I pull out the key that I found. For this key,
You pulled out a black key that kind of has almost like a spike at the end,
And
kind of curving down.
why
Do I
do you
recognize
think there's
it?
a keyhole around here for that?
You do actually recognize it.
Where'd you get that?
You don't know what it goes to, but Serval always had it. Typically around his neck. On
Cheval gave it to me when he died.
a necklace.
And you think that goes to somewhere in here?
It could. Or maybe it's something back in Zinnerhold.
Or do you think it might go to the prime vessel for Zestaria?
I'll make a
It was his
perception.
most precious treasure, I'm sure, based off how he acted with her.
I just don't know if the piece would be her, because she, presumably the main piece of what he's saying is true, she was literally with us in Zinnerhold.
Well,
He could have stolen her blood or
how about
kidnapped her at
this?
any point.
We'll just look as we go.
Who's to say he didn't?
Because she was still in the city when we left.
Tiku's still alive.
I investigate the room.
I
Make an investigation check.
want to
I
assist.
think we need to,
I
I
would
think we need to look
specifically
for a
use
keyhole,
perception for what it's worth.
maybe.
Okay.
Gonna give myself guidance.
Didn't the doll say that Zestaria's in a cage, effectively? Protecting her? If I had to guess, for something that he would keep around his neck all the time, that would be the only thing important enough to keep with him at all times.
Or something that could save her. I mean, both would be true.
But it said that he didn't get the cure. It said that
he
Squawk
took the
took
main
it.
piece, but he didn't specify what the piece is. Could be the main ingredient for a cure. Could be anything really. I mean, a piece is very vague.
Investigation.
23.
Perception.
30-30.
Okay. Looking about the room. First, so you're able to determine, actually both of you to be able to determine fairly quickly. Most of the bookshelves are locked. However, they seem to be arcanely locked. There doesn't actually seem to be a physical
Actually,
lock involving with them.
Key.
Um,
Actually, I have it written down.
You're right. It is bronze, not black. But it is still almost chipped at the end of it. With that being the case, most of the cabinets are locked again via an arcane lock. Looking through the chests mostly seem to be belongings. The only one that seems really different or impactful is one of them seems to be filled with just scroll after scroll, and like doing a quick glance through of these. A lot of them are basically historical of his findings on the way that different societies function, and specifically, a lot of it seem to be research reports on human psychology, effectively how to deal with people, how to manage people, how to make people respect you, how to make people fear you. Seems
There's a
like
lot of self-help books in here.
Effectively, really, he seemed extremely interested in learning how to control people effectively through various different methods.
And then he found voodoo magic.
Apart from that, there are different reports from effectively think of them almost like reports that would be written for school, like when you'd be going through school, or like research projects would be a better way to state it, with different research projects based around different creatures. And the one that would likely have caught your eye based on what you guys have been doing so far is he does have a research paper that he has written on the crystal eye, or specifically on the crystal veins. It's a thesis that he had made, basically talking about a network stretching from the crystal eye that he believes basically integrates with the majority of all of Altira, and could likely be used to access all of Altira.
I thought the Underdark was separated, as in it wasn't connecting across the entire.
That is what would be known, and that is correct for what you know. So this seems to be a thesis that he's created, that he thinks that there's a way via the crystal eye, or the crystal veins is what he's calling them, that by interacting with these crystal veins you'd be able to traverse not actually only to Altera, but he believes that it might connect to different parts of the world. It's not something that you guys would have ever heard anything on. It just very much so looks and feels to be a report that was written by someone, and it is written from a hypothetical point.
This looks like some weird conspiracy theory.
In a similar fashion, he has his own papers on how magic could affect the integration or the intermingling of life forms. And he believes that when effectively putting the proper amount and kind of magic through a life form, you could extract part of effectively the essence of who they are and imbue it into somebody else. And effectively, it almost seems like an assist or his take on what you might be able to do to take the attributes of one race and give them to another to create more powerful individuals.
This just seems like a corrupted version of rune weaving.
Kind of. Apart from that, though, there does not appear to be, there isn't any kind of extra locks on any of this. It seems that due to the nature of this room, he didn't feel an overt need to lock down anything. If there is something for the key in here,
do we want any of these books?
Very well hidden.
Chico's gonna head out with Kaio and
Would I know if he had that key prior to Zestaria?
He's had that key as long as you've known him.
And I knew him back in his high school days, so I assume that's prior to Zestaria. Based on time frame, she wouldn't have even been born yet. Right?
One quick thing for you. High school would not be a thing.
Fair. I'm saying time frame wise of how long she's been alive, because currently it was 9 years and she was 12, so she'd be roughly 20.
The answer is you did know him in his acolyte days, which would be prior to when Zestaria was in the picture. In fact, you hardly knew of Zestaria, because when Serval discovered Zestaria, that is when he grew distant and then rapidly and quickly disappeared afterwards.
I don't know what that key is, but might just go as far to say he's had it forever. Might not be in this room. It might be something that was on him when he died.
I mean, the key was on him, but there was nothing to unlock on him.
Are you sure?
Maybe his heart.
You say that, but Serval and Squawk did some very interesting things. Some experiments with already dead life forms. You know, a key to a heart isn't as far stretched as I think you think it might be.
Pretty
I was
sure.
mostly just making a joke.
Pretty sure our warlock.
That book you just read talked about extracting his life force. That could be a key to his life force. It could also just be to his lunchbox. Who knows?
Mine was very dedicated to a good lunch.
Who doesn't love a good meal?
It definitely didn't stick
Wait, where'd
into
Tiku
his
go?
physical body.
I mean, Deku is in the hallway with right by me, from what I can see.
If you're talking to them, you're in the room because
Yeah,
the moment you
yeah,
exit
yeah.
this room, you cannot interact with people inside. So for you, Tiku, we're gonna say that Caillou stopped at the door and kind of turned, and you just kind of like pushed out, and immediately upon pushing out into the hallway, immediately upon pushing through the door, turning back around like at a quick glance, there's not but stone behind you. There is no door. You are now just in what appears to be a longer hallway. The floor seems to be made out of almost like a purple marble rock that has white streaks kind of streaking through it. It looks like a fairly just ornate, effectively just an ornate marble design, very expensive. The hallway is largely empty. You see two people down to your right, and you'd see one person walking towards you for what it's worth. The other two people are walking away from you. The hallway you're in is maybe about 30 feet long. There's a door, not terribly far. The hallway L's? Yeah, the hallway L's to your left, and to the right it stops at a large set of double doors that has two smaller doors to the right and the left of it as well. As soon as you exit out of it, kind of like look back, the person further down the hallway immediately calls out and goes, "How did you exit from..." Oh, what? And then kind of starts to almost like jog over to you. He has two larger scrolls in his right hand, and then he has a tome in his left hand that he's kind of holding as he quickly runs over to you.
Tiku's gonna sniff the air and see if she can pick up any.
Would you say I
scents
noticed
that
Tiku
are weird.
leaving?
Okay. Tiku literally just pushed past you. It was not...
So I know she went to the door.
And
She went
left.
through
yeah,
the door.
Yeah.
Okay, I would
If you
then
talk to us, and then
I would
asked,
then
"Where's Tiku?"
I would quickly then say,
Well, she's gone. I'll see you guys on the other side. I've got to go.
as I would go to the door, and go out to find Tiku.
I mean, we all just. I follow. So
Okay, so you guys all
You guys
follow
all
out shortly after. I'll say like right as this individual who, this individual is he's a human male, about 5.5 feet tall, so not terribly tall, fairly short.
you going?
Has blonde hair. One of his ears is slightly longer than the other one. Almost looks elvish on one ear, but the other looks entirely human. Extremely fine complexion. This man, from the smoothness to his hands to the almost oblivious smile on his face. This looks like someone who has not seen a rough day a day in his life. He's wearing very fine, effectively noble robes with reds and purples, has a golden necklace, and the robe seems embroidered with not only what appears to be arcane writing, hard to know if it's actually magical, but in addition to that, almost like fine furs from exotic animals, as well as he almost looks like it almost looks like a ferret is wrapped around his neck. Although on further inspection, it is instead just almost like a fur pillow that has been wrapped around his neck. As he kind of like gets up to you as the rest of you start to exit, apart from you, because I know you're doing something inside, and he stops and he goes, You're not all masters, are you? Were you invited? I don't know any of you. Apologies. Let me start over. And he kind of takes the two scrolls on his right and kind of stuffs them into his robe a little bit awkwardly, crunching them up a little bit. Takes the book, kind of holds it to his side, puts his hand over his heart, and just kind of like lightly bows. He says, "My name is Percival. It is an absolute pleasure to meet each of you. I can't say I'm familiar with any of you. I'm on the council among the acolytes, not to be confused with the actual council. Would not be so ostentatious. But I'm not familiar with any new students, and I thought that I knew everyone within the Brazilian chapel. I must know, who are you and who are you invited by?
I would chime in and be... We were invited to come talk to the Alchemist. We used a friend of the Alchemist's master quarters to get here faster.
And whose master quarters did you come through?
Serval, his daughter, he's recently passed, but his daughter allowed us to use access to his quarters to come meet with his friend, the Alchemist.
Serval had a daughter?
Adopted.
Peculiar. It's most saddening to hear that he passed away, but that is life, I suppose.
Wonderful to meet you, but we are in a hurry. We must make it to the laboratory.
Not about good news. You've entered fairly close to it, as he gestures down the hall, and you would know. So you would be familiar with the larger doors. Would enter effectively into a larger church area. However, the door to the left would actually be effectively it's an offshoot hallway that you would follow that, and then you'd simply need to take it. You'd simply at the end of that you'd take the stairs. You'd need to go down.
Would I know like the Razlakar salute?
There isn't a Razlakar salute. As this is a whole city dedicated to magic. People bring different. It's very much so just where'd you come from. People come here who are dedicated to magic. There isn't.
There's no like proper culture.
Yeah, there is no culture. This is a hot pot
from...
of just all sorts of different cultures. Would you know the bow that he just did? Make a history check.
So
17.
17. You know it's commonly associated with Dragonborn. You've seen a lot of Dragonborn do it. That's all you'd really be able to get from that, though.
So you said it was close by, right? It's just over there.
Being as
of sorts, you would. And he gestures to the door, and he says, "You'd simply. I assume this is your first time here. No worries. You simply so the door down there near the ostentatious double doors. You don't need to go through those. Don't worry. And I doubt you want to meet with His Excellency today, anyways. I believe he's hosting a sermon. With that being the case, you'd simply take the door to the left, follow it to the end of the hall. You'll find your way to the spiral staircase. We're currently on the 6th floor. You'll need to make your way all the way down to the first. The Brazilian lab is on the 1st floor. It encompasses a large portion of it. It's really almost the first bastion of the Brazilian chapel. There is other things down there as well, but as soon as you make your way down to the 1st floor, it's very easy to find the lab. It just exit out. You'll enter into a larger common room. There's a few doors. Most of them lead to just different lab rooms. I believe Borcrest is acting effectively. He's running the lab today. If it's not Borcrest, then it should be.
You're very informative.
Thank you. As I said, I'm a member of the acting
Student council, basically?
acolyte council. Yes. We are students of the actual council. We're close. We're the closest in line, and got to make a name for yourself somehow. Along those lines, actually, as he pulls the 2 scrolls out, he says, "I was on the way to deliver something. I wish you the best of luck. I do have to go. I don't want to be late for this." And at this point, he just jogs past you. You see 2 more people round the corner, and they seem to be coming down. They don't seem to pay as much heed to you, but are seemingly going in the same.
All right.
Same direction.
One more thing before you go. Do you know what this key is?
He kind of like stops and looks back and looks down again as he's very much so
He's, like,
very obviously in a hurry. I'm unfamiliar. I'm sorry. Perhaps ask someone in the lab.
Enjoy your studies.
It is very common. They lock a lot of the cabinets. There's a lot of highly expensive materials. Best of luck, and then he just continues to run.
Oh, good. So we know where we're going, and I need to do some experiments with this arm. So
Don't be claiming we can't just go around calling people nerds.
Yeah, and don't go around flashing all Serval's stuff. He's a master, you know?
Why would I care? So
Because you don't want to bring more eyes than needed.
Somebody might notice it, but then I can figure out what it's for.
we may also figure out that we're the ones that killed him, if that was the
This
case.
is the stickiest guy in your group.
But I didn't actually kill him.
When he tries.
Oh my goodness, let's just go.
Technically,
He goes headed towards the stairs.
his
I'm just following while we're talking.
technically Razu killed him.
This probably seems fairly normal, weird enough. It's just like people just talk in the hallways.
As you guys are like a larger group, as you continue to walk, the people behind you, especially those who are more perceptive, you do hear them almost kind of like talking about you, not whispering. They don't seem to be hiding it at all. They're just like well, that's a weird group. You'd think that I'd notice a group of that many weird races.
By the way, as we're talking, I'm also sprinkling a little bit of like talking to Beak Clayman about like where we're supposed to find the buyer, where we're supposed to look at the goods, that kind of stuff too.
Performance check.
Yeah. Okay.
Performance.
Do we do a duo with him? Because I'm bouncing off Beekman.
This is Trinity saying my plus is shit.
Oh no, actually no. That's because I'm legit.
He is
I'm doing that.
role playing with him.
Yeah.
Assuming he is partaking, then yes.
Yeah, be claiming. Where do we find the buyer? You're the failed merchant that we need to rely on.
Let's see if I can do any good on this. I just got to do roll. He's guidance. That's not great.
I said
Hopefully
whenever I say failed merchant, I go, you're the failed merchant that we need to rely on.
Do you want to roll a performance check?
What's your
With
performance?
that wink there. What?
What's your performance
What's your
check?
performance check?
Oh.
It forced you into a performance. Oh, we're not great. 5 here.
12.
12.
It's kind of rough.
Well, I'm just like,
What'd you get?
here's my thing is I'm not, you guys say your thing and what are you trying to...
I'm like, play the part.
And you're like doing that super obvious.
Some people looking at
just repeat your question.
people walking past just think we're some like failed
the-
comedy skit or something.
Where are we supposed to meet the
Where are we supposed to meet
the
them?
goods? And
We can't meet the
No,
goods. We have to make the deal first.
oh, wait.
This is why I am a failed merchant. I have poor taste in business partners.
As you guys as you open the door and you turn down the following hallway, the two individuals that were behind you, being a little bit quicker than you, as they open up the door. First of which, you notice there is a large group of individuals inside. Like even at a quick glance, as you guys are going down a different hall, there's probably a good like 80 plus people that you see immediately in there.
Do we see the speaker?
This
You do
great.
not, as they had just like cracked the door unless you make an additional effort. However, the two individuals that are walking past, as you guys turn and go into the door and start to walk down the hallway, you do hear them say, "Thank God they're not going to be in here. They'd be much too loud." As they enter into the room and shut the door behind them. Effectively, as you guys,
I'm going to start networking
Well,
as Beak Clayman to try and find our...
so in this case, what are you saying? So like
Wait,
as
are
you
you
go down the
going
hallway,
into
you'd
the room
actually run
that
into
we're not
multiple
going
more
in?
people.
I thought that was the room we were going into.
no, we're going downstairs to the lab.
Then why didn't you even describe this room?
Just the door open.
It
'cause you
opened.
saw through
They
it?
walked and went in ahead of us.
Environment? It's just a lot of people inside.
Story building.
This lecture is popular. That's what.
Well, that's what... Well,
That
when
is
you
a-
said the door opened, I thought we were going through that door.
No, so this is a larger group of double doors. Your guys are going down the hallway, and you guys do continue to pass other people who some of them seem kind of confused. Hard to say if they're confused.
Okay, so sorry for the confusion. I'm just going to be explaining to my business associates how networking works
Okay.
as we go down.
As you guys pass a few individuals, there's a combination of people that seem confused at what you guys are talking about, as well as individuals who seem confused at the group. Just being despite this being a hodgepodge and seeing a good variety of races walking about these halls, your group is still a little odd for the grouping that you have. But as you guys are continuing to move towards effectively towards the first floor.
We have Kenku. We have
Kenku, halfling, human or elf. Sorry.
I'm just sticking with the human. Just be some generic salesman person. I'm not making my guy anything special.
I think you're still a grung as well. You didn't change, right? You guys remember?
I didn't specifically say that I changed. No.
Okay. And then you wanted to stay back in the room. What were you wanting to do in the room as they had all
I
left out?
specifically just wanted to try to do just a small rune weaving check because I wanted to try and basically tell the story of the puppet as far as I understand it. Basically, someone who was left behind by Serval, left as a guardian, and try and utilize that and then try and open the book.
How long are you willing to spend on the spell?
1 to 5 minutes, or I guess I can do 1 minute or 10 minutes. Probably just 1 minute.
Just 1 minute. Okay, so go ahead and make a rune weaving check. You have not quite.
I still have guidance going.
Are we stopping for this?
No, so he said a while ago that he had stayed back in the room when you guys walked out.
Oh, okay.
When you guys talked to the human, he did this, and we completed yours, and now we'll go back.
We're just make
26.
sure no timeline.
26. As you complete the spell and you look into the book does not seem to populate or anything like that. However, the puppet does it starts to move about 30 seconds through. That said, he does not seem as much to act with a will of his own as much as you're telling the story, he seems to go through and almost try and act out the story that you're telling.
He is now your puppet.
As soon as the spell ends, the puppet, which was originally effectively frozen, pointing, as it tried to enact act the story as much as it can. When you finished, it looks towards you, almost like waiting for the next step or the next part of the story.
Did he reopen the book to the page?
He reopened the book, but it does not seem to have whatever magic caused the lettering to appear. Did not seem to reactivate.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I... I want to try and freeform, continuing this story. I'd probably be going over the minute, so if that's not allowed, then I won't, but try and just spend like an extra 30 seconds to a minute, maybe just 1 more minute spell, to try and basically have it utilize the strings that it has remaining.
Has anyone seen Kane?
As you guys are walking again, you guys talked to him for a good couple minutes. He would have just come out near the end of the conversation. As you try to continue the spell, the puppet does continue to starts to move again, and it almost seems to reach out, like it's reaching for before it almost seemed to be pulling on the strings, and as it tries to almost pull and act on them, there doesn't seem to be any strings, and it tries for about 10 seconds after the first minute had ended, and then at that point, whatever the magic that was starting to animate this, with a little bit of the little bit of not knowing exactly where the story would go, especially upon realizing the strings are no longer there, it within a few moments again freezes. Now instead of stuck in a pointed motion, instead almost is stuck in an emotion where it's trying to pull the strings in.
I don't want to leave it like that. As soon as realizing the strings are gone, I'm going to swap the story to a resting, bringing the puppet to a rest.
Okay. So we're going to say you take the full extra minute then, so you would have been in there for effectively 2 minutes casting. Finishing it out, he sits down and kind of just places his hands together and places them in his lap, sitting I don't know what the technical word for it. The Indian style.
Cross-legged.
Cross-legged. Yes. He would sit cross-legged and fold his hands together, and then just kind of like leans his head down, and the puppet stops moving. Now instead of seemingly frozen in place, almost seemingly set on the table, almost like a decoration.
And I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but I did not know Savol. But if he cared for Zistari as much as you did, he wasn't all bad. And Dahl likes it.
The puppet does not seem to... It does not seem to take any kind of further action. You kind of like walk over to the door and kind of like look, and as you kind of like take a quick glance back, you notice the head of the puppet is lower than before you had spoken to it. And with that, you'd push open the door. I would just say you'd push open the door as he was calling out to him, asking him what the key is, and then you would have joined up with them. Okay. With that, you guys, again, continuing to pass individuals that all seem to be going to this sermon or whatever this lecture is. Again, you get more and more to the point where people are confused that you're not going. To the point that by the time as you go down these stairs, you encounter a group that has a dragonborn, an elf, and then 2 humans. And they all kind of like seem to almost like take a glance back to you and stop as you walk past them. One of the humans calls down to you and he says, "You are aware you're going the wrong way, right? The lecture's starting soon. Are you lost or?"
We came from the 6th floor. We got work to do in the lab.
But the 6th floor is where it's being held.
Yes, but we have important work to do in the lab.
But Orpheus is
Hey, we don't want to hear anything about your orifices.
Don't mind him.
He just confused, kind of like jogs to catch up with the group that he was walking with. And as you guys continue to go down the stairs, you hear kind of like echoing down. It's just like, this is the first free lecture we've had in years. Who wouldn't want to?
If it's free, how good can it be?
Is the failed merchant beat claiming?
The response to that one, quiet enough that only those of you with higher perception can hear it. Failures are understatement as they go up to the higher floors. With that, as you guys get down to the first
Y'all
floor,
worried about my disguise.
As you guys get down to the first floor, passing a good, probably a good 24 people. Again, just leading to how many people are going to whatever this lecture is. Entering onto the first floor.
Zephyr. Call me crazy. This is the first lecture in years. It just happens to be on the day we show up.
That is free. That is free.
It sounds like a trap. We shouldn't go.
Do you want to send Aerith to investigate?
I think actually the lecture is the disguise for the trap. I think it's a setup. I think we're walking into the trap.
I mean, I can have
Getting people away from.
I can have Aerith keep
Getting
an eye
people
on
away
it.
from the lab. Yeah, I think this is a setup.
I kind of look around, see if there's anyone. Aerith kind of stands out a little bit when I summon her.
So I kind of have that you guys are still in the stairway. You guys kind of stop right before you get to the first
I'm
door.
looking for people before I can summon Aerith.
As you take a quick glance at you have to wait a minute, as there is a couple people that kind of enter from the other floors. You hear the door shut, kind of give it a second, and you're left alone in the stairway.
Little
Stairwell.
spark of lightning. Aerith appears.
What if? Hear me out, guys. Sorry, were you describing something important?
Aerith appears and go if there's a room and I describe where the room is and stuff. If you can find a window and keep an eye on what's going on over there, and then send her off.
Okay. Aerith starts to fly up the.
Would I know
the
if that's
stairwell.
like allowed in the chapel?
Guarantee you familiars are our most common sight.
Magical familiars would be very common, to the point that you would have seen multiple, like perched on people's shoulders, kind of skittering about the floor, some with what you would assume to be their owners or companions. Some that seem to be just wandering around aimlessly. It almost is like
looking for their owners.
Yeah, it's almost like the chapel is infested with animals, but especially with your history here, you would know that there is no wild animals here. All the animals within the Rosilian lab, it's not within the Rosilian lab, sorry, but within the Rosilian chapel, apart from the lab, are almost always familiars that are contracted to people. And the only wild ones would be in the Rosilian lab, which are frequently contracted as part of magic, as magical companions. To acolytes, masters, different individuals within the Rosilian chapel. With that, Aerith takes off to go see about joining or seeing what this meeting or this lecture is. As you guys enter into effectively into the Rosilian lab, the first floor of the Rosilian chapel, as you open into what is a fairly larger room, good like 60 feet, 60 foot like rectangular style room, 60 feet wide, about 100 feet long. It's got multiple different tables, not too unlike the design of the lab in Zopperkar. From when you were there with the multiple different tables. There's a clerk standing behind one of them, multiple different alchemy stations, although the vast majority of them are currently empty. There's only 2 of the stations that are currently being used. One seems to be being used by an Aarakocra, the other by a human. And then the clerk standing behind one of the tables is immediately familiar to each of you. You guys have encountered this individual just recently, actually, apart from yourself. This would not be familiar to you. As a dwarf standing behind the table, kind of has wrappings up his arms and almost stained blood on his hands, where you previously had seen him blood right, the blood almost like spiked out of his hands. As Ardal, standing behind the table, kind of like looks over and goes, "Oh wow, you did come as quickly as he said you would. I assume you're simply here to accept his invitation."
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's why we're here. Be claiming.
Cute get-up, by the way. I do appreciate it. I normally wouldn't see it if we weren't in this place. But with that
I don't know what you're
being
talking
the
about.
case,
I'm beak claiming.
I'm sure you don't. My responsibility was simple. I was simply waiting for you. He kind of like leans over and he seems to slap someone on the back as an individual stands up, who is a middle-aged man, a little bit of a kind of a scraggly beard with patches in it. As he kind of like stands up, very obviously just waking up. He says, "Sorry, Mr. Pocrest, I can no longer keep watch for you. The individuals I was waiting for have arrived." And he kind of like turns, kind of wide-eyed, and says, "Oh, yes, of course. Are you taking them into, Are you taking them into the room R, or are we going to one of the numbered rooms?" And Ardal responding says, "If anyone asks, we're going into R. However, anything past that, just don't worry about it. Just keep an eye out." And kind of taps him on the back again. And as he taps him on the back, you noticed that his hand does very much so still have a little bit almost of a blood spike. Not to the point that he would be injuring him, but to where it's like the slap on the back is likely pricking him, likely almost putting a small hole in the cloak the individual seems to be wearing.
I feel like he's not complacent.
Ardal looks over to him and says, "I feel like he is doing a stand-up job, and he's not concerned with this at all. You're complacent, yes?" Human kind of nods and says, "Oh yes, just a little tired, but everything's fine. By all means, to room R with you." As he just gestures to one of the rooms on the side. Ardal, effectively signaling to all of it, he says, "Well, again, we've been expecting you, so please come with me." As he immediately directs you to a door that is not the one the individual had just pointed to. There is number-wise, just so you know, there is 12 separate doors that exit from this room, and then there's a total of 14. 12 doors that are in the room, the one that seems to that goes to the stairs where you guys had just come from, and then what appears to be the entrance leading out.
Do I know where we're going?
You have spent some time in the Rosilian lab, but most of the time that you would have spent would have been in this main room. The connected chambers you would know are typically you'd effectively consider them like classrooms. where individuals can go in to study, or almost like mini laboratories where you need to be separated off because you're doing something a little bit more dangerous. Maybe there's chemical gases.
We're going into
like
the
that.
experimental room.
As you kind of like look about the rooms, there's more doors than last time you were here. Last time you were here, there was only 6 rooms. And the room that you're in right now seems bigger. I swear it was smaller last time you were here, which is counterintuitive to when you're young in an area. With that being the case, the door that he's directing you to, as he opens it up, it opens up into just another hallway that has 4 separate doors on the edges of it, and then the end of it just has a staircase that goes down. Ardal just kind of holds his hand out, gesturing down the hall, and he says, "If you would, don't veer off to the sides. The rooms are nothing of importance to you, and the alchemist is waiting, as we understand. You've requested to meet with him."
On the rooms not being important.
Go for it.
I'll assist him.
And say on if we're actually meeting the alchemist.
20. Dirty.
29.
29. He is hard to read. However, he very much so seems to not care. Hard to know if they're not important because he thinks they're not important, or if there's actually nothing important. But he certainly believes what he's saying.
Okay.
With that being the case, are you guys just doing as he's asked? How are you guys proceeding?
Can I do a perception check just in case of like any traps of any kind? I genuinely don't. I genuinely think they aren't gonna trap it, but just in case.
Go for it.
I would too, like a perception check.
Okay.
16.
19.
19. Doesn't seem to be trapped. Again, in fact, if the only thing you really feel is that this is all much too easy. As you look around, expecting there to be some kind of a trap or someone to stop you more, no one seems to be raising any kind of flags. Doesn't seem to be trapped. The only thing a little bit off again is how easy it really seems. Ardal kind of holding a standing hand outstretched down the hallway, urging you to continue moving forward.
I check in with Aerith. Has the lecture started?
Yeah. Aerith would effectively, she'd send a mental image back to you. The mental image would be
Well, if she did, I would just take over her senses for just a moment.
That would be even easier. As you take over her senses for a moment, as the lecture very much so has started. In fact, by the time she got there, it had already started. The room that they're in is about 40 feet tall. There's an individual who seems to be standing in front of a large organ, 2 larger fireplaces to the right and left. And as he talks, he almost seems to be pulling strands of fire from those and very much so seems to be talking with his hands, but while he's doing, also seems to be spellcasting. As he is seemingly at this point, he's going over the connection between magic and effectively the elements, and how we can use our connection to magic, or our connection with magic, to control the elements, and if done properly, even control things like earthquakes or volcanoes, where you can subside them, you can erupt them. As of right now, it is very much so a talk on how nature seems to integrate with magic, or magic seems to integrate with nature.
I'll stop focusing on that. Girdle, do you think there's a reason they're grouping all the students up in one spot?
I think they want eyes away from whatever's happening. Or whatever's going to happen.
Is there anything noticeable on the doors? Like, do they have little windows or anything you can peek through?
I assume you're going into the hallway then, where Ardal had addressed you. None of the doors seem to have any kind of peepholes, anything like that. They all have handles. What is your passive perception, TQ? Actually, it's not even passive. You said that you specifically were looking for sense. What was the perception check you had rolled as you were effectively trying to pick up?
I don't know. What did I roll? I didn't finish that.
Either really high or really low.
I think it was low, and then it went lower. Basically,
No,
it
it's a
was the
double
lowest
natural one.
and the lowest.
it's even better.
My passive perception is 12, but that was a 1 and a 1.
As you're kind of like looking at these doors, you're trying to almost like get a scent or a sense of what may be behind these doors, as you are suspicious of what Ardal had said. That said, you are distracted by what is very much so the smell of scales. Almost think like a horse barn where you can smell the hay. You can smell that, but like a dragon's lair.
Is it me or the area?
As you kind of smell yourself, you realize it's just a prevalent smell. As soon as you walked into this hallway, it kind of perforated around you, and it makes it almost impossible to look in to try and determine anything on the other side of the doors, as it is distracting. And it very much so seems to get stronger as you head further down the hall and down the stairs.
This hall was not like a magical.
Tiku's gonna peek in the last door if it's
other
open.
than being like a little bit bigger on the inside.
It wasn't even bigger on the inside. This hall actually just seemed to be a door that opened up into it. As you kind of like quickly take a look around, you notice there is arcane symbols around the frame of the door as you kind of opened it up. And as you walk through into the hall, you can also smell, you're not immediately able to place it as like the smell of almost like a dragon or of like cold scales, but you're immediately able to, it almost smells like a sediment, strong smell of sediment that seems to be, if there is anything magical about the hallway, it's simply that it's containing whatever this smell is. But other than that, doesn't seem to be anything particularly off. All the doors are shut unless you want to try and open one as you're going through the hallway.
last door in the hallway I'm gonna open. The last door on the left or the right. I don't care.
Okay, so there's 4 doors total. 3 on the right, 1 on the left.
I'm gonna open the last door on the left. Or the
The
first
only
door.
one door on the
First
left.
door on the left. If it's in the middle.
Okay.
I just want to ask Malarith, do you sent the brimstone here?
And as she kind of appears above your head, Ardal does get a little bit startled by it. So you just kind of just, what the? And she kind of appears and she. I don't know if it's brimstone, but it's something.
Very useful.
It smells like me. This hallway's too small. As you see, she almost like started to form a little bit more before realizing how small the hallway you guys are in is. It's barely could house like 2 people. It's about probably about 6 foot wide, not terribly large. She goes, "I'll be back if it opens more. This is peculiar, familiar." And then she. As you reach out, Tiku, as soon as you grab the handle, you immediately have like a cold sensation that washes through your body. Very much so seems to come from the door, from the handle, as it's effectively just got a longer bar that you've reached out and kind of grabbed. And as soon as you grab it, it's chilling to the point that think like almost grabbing dry ice, but not quite to the point of painful, as it like almost tenses up your hand, locks in place. You kind of like pull on the door a little bit and almost like it almost like tenses up your hand to the point you can't even open it. The door does not seem to move, and for a moment you can't even take your hand off before you kind of, and as you do, your hand almost like it's frozen. You have to like and kind of like stretch it out.
Is it actually cold?
As you look at it, doesn't have any kind of like condensation or anything coming off of it.
Can I kick the door to see if it still has ice like around the door and stuff too? Is the door cold as well?
No, as you kind of like feel the door and you give it a kick, it does not open, nor does the rest of it feel cold. Ardal does call out to you though, and he says, "I'll open the door for you if you really want. I don't think you'll like it though. I recommend meeting with those downstairs first. But you tell me, would you like me to open the door?"
Yes.
Ardal walks over to the door. He kind of grabs it. He seems like tense for a moment before pushing it open. As soon as he pushes it open, you're immediately greeted with a stronger scent of, again, almost like dragon scale, of what is immediately mixed in with blood. Not just familiar kobold blood, but you smell almost a conglomeration of very clear decay, blood, and seemingly almost like materials, like almost like some kind of a rancid gas. So you almost like immediately kind of like taken back a little bit, and you look inside the room. You're looking into actually, do you have dark vision?
Oh,
Pretty sure
yes.
kobolds have dark vision.
Okay. As you look into the room is fairly small. It's about a 10 foot by a 10 foot cube. There's a single metal table in the middle of it, and on the table there is some kind of mass that you cannot place. It has scales that seem to be down on the right, that is a larger, almost like bulbous arm that has almost like patched scales on it. There's pieces of what appear to be almost like feathers for a wing that's kind of sprawled off of it, and it goes into almost just kind of like a bulbous mass on the left of it. There's a larger horn and a tail that seem to be kind of curling out from the right and left of it. It's not like chained up or anything. It just seems to be on the table and almost like pulsing like a heart. It's about like 3 feet wide, so fairly large. There's a table on the right side of the room that has different implements on it. A few of them have like different, almost like stained with like blood. And then on the left side, you realize the smell of the gas is from a vial that seems to have some kind of a yellow mist that is just leaking into the room, which upon opening the door is leaking out into the hallway. It's nothing spectacular. Just an experiment with some materials collected after a hunt. Don't worry, no one died for it. He grabs the door and pulls it shut.
I smell cobalt blood in there, yeah.
You smell kobold amongst many other things.
We're insight checking the nobody died for it parts.
Yeah,
Go for it.
would too.
Jesus.
That reminds me of the room.
15 for me.
I personally think he's telling the truth, so.
Oh.
1/120. 27.
He, again, seems very... While he is hard to read, it's hard to tell if he's hard to read because he just doesn't care, or if he's just truly telling the truth, but he doesn't seem to be lying.
So
He's
he's either uninformed or no one actually died.
Or extremely disinterested.
Well, I mean, still,
Well, he said
was
no one died. We were inciting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as he would be concerned, to how it would seem to you, he does not.
Either he's misinformed or no one died.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Just to inform you, I want to be keeping an eye on Tiku, just in case she gets hit with another wave of the dragon sickness, dragon blindness, and turns on us.
Okay, so you're kind of keeping a half an eye
gonna
on
do the last door on
Tiku's,
the right
particular
as
her
well.
eyes. The door now being shut? You go to the last door on the right, you grab it, and the handle for this one doesn't seem off or anything. But you kind of like push on it, it's locked, and Ardal calls to you and he says, "I can't open that one for you, not because I wouldn't be willing. I literally can't. I can show you what's behind this one, though," as he points to the middle on the right.
Why can't you open that one?
I don't have the authorization, you could say. Razu is the only one that I've seen open that door.
Isn't it just locked?
Of sorts, yes, you could say.
Is there a keyhole?
There's not.
Specifically for a winged key?
Nope. All of these just have seemingly a single metal bar that comes out of the door with like a handle that you would push or pull.
You guys gonna wait by the middle door, I guess?
You come back to the middle door, he grabs it, and he says, "Again, I don't think this is your fancy, but it's necessary." As he pushes open this door, this one is arguably more grotesque to those of you. To you, this one I wouldn't say quite as gut wrenching, but especially for Zephyr, for yourself.
or you just looked at me when you said Zephyr?
No, so for really any of you that isn't Tiku, this would be a much more grotesque sight. As you see, there's 2 tables that are they're like mounted on the wall that have some kind of humanoid that is currently strapped to them. Neither of the humanoids have a head. One of them seems to have scales. Both of them are opened up to where it looks like this one looks less of an experiment, more of like study. As there's a table next to each of them, there seems to be notes and a diagram of what appears to be a body kind of like propped up against the wall. And you actually do see she would be younger, maybe like late teens for a female human. And she's currently just kind of like inspecting, kind of like looking up at it. She takes a scalpel and is like lightly cutting into something. Very much so seems to be someone who is, it almost looks like a body that's been donated to science that someone is studying.
Cadaver, yeah.
The smell in here is actually much more tame. As you look over, there's a table that has another vial that has a...
Question though, with this body, is it still animated to the point where like it sounds like pumping veins and stuff?
One of them is.
Okay.
The other is not. So the body that she's working on, the one that she's working on almost seems to be functioning like a normal body, but it's been opened up. So you can see how the entrails and the organs are actually functioning. You can see the heart. And with it being open, you can actually like hear like the...
Yeah. You see all the undulating and stuff.
The other one very much so seems like full cadaver, seems to be dead, and a good portion of the organs have actually been removed. There is one other individual, as you kind of take a little bit more of a glance in the room. He's sitting in a chair currently, has a notebook in it, or it would be a notebook in his hand, and he's kind of like looking at it, has a pair of glasses, kind of sitting low on his nose. That, as you enter in, was in the midst of calling out instruction as he kind of stops. Kind of like puts his book down and looks towards you. This being an older human man, as he kind of like looks. Can I help you? We're in the middle of a test here.
Oh, just sightseeing.
Does Tiku sense any?
We're in the middle of something. Please, and also, apologies. And he pulls the door shut. What were you saying? Do you sense before he shut the door?
Does Tiku sense any lost souls, like souls hanging in the air or anything?
Make a religion check.
Any souls that you can eat? Tiku's hungry.
I'm terrible at religion, but 20, dirty.
Dirty 20? Very much so. The cadaver that seems to almost be pulsing, to you is pulsing with life. Not in like the sense of like seeing how it functions, but in the sense of the soul that was inhabiting whatever this individual, it has not left it.
Can I take it?
That's what I said, it wasn't a
Can I call to it? Or like...
So Ardal reaches out to shut the door. Do you like try and stop it?
I just hold for a second.
And as you kind of like reach out and stop the door, Ardal looks down to you and the human inside goes, "What now? Again, we're in the midst of a test."
I ignore it. I just ignore the noise. Or I ignore him talking.
Ignore the noise, which is his voice.
And like call out to the soul.
As for you guys, you see Tiku kind of like stops, and she almost like leans forward, and as in your head, as you actually like call out. Actually, what do you say when you call out? It's actually better.
Are you lost, my friend? I can take you away from this terrible place.
You immediately hear a response, almost like you feel a response that just says, "Please."
I just try to take it. I don't know how to like it.
As you guys watch, Tiku is like, "Wait," and then she kind of like looks in, and she kind of like lightly opens her mouth, and you almost hear
like Kirby.
No, so you almost hear like a gust of wind blowing down the halls of a castle.
Kirby. Oh.
Dude,
My bad. My bracelet caught on it.
It's like a gust of wind echoing through the halls of a abandoned castle. As you hear like a, and for you can actually see that no one else seems to see this. That almost like white essence seems to peel off of it, and very much so is something that, in this case, as you've called out to it, You seem to have consumed it, but you realize you did not eat it.
I'm just
And you
holding.
your head feels slightly heavier. Specifically something atop it.
Sucked into your cauldron.
I turn around and say, "You can close it now," and then I look at the ball in my hand.
For the rest of you, as that happens, the pulsing of this cadaver stops. The effectively the live functionality of whatever this entity was immediately seems to end. The
I just turn
human
around and
individual kind of like stands up. And goes, what in
Oh, it's nice to meet you. Bye.
As you shut the door as he seems
You like reach
extremely
around our doll and yoink.
confused. The girl, last thing you're hearing is like, I didn't even touch it, I swear. And then you shut the door. Our doll looks down to you, Tika, and he goes, well, that was weird. If you would, I'd like to not interrupt anyone else in the middle of study. This is not typically available to the public. I was told to treat you hospitably, so I was happy to show you what I can, but now you seem to be interrupting tests.
Not interrupting.
Don't.
Dude,
just
just
get
out
going.
of curiosity's sake, what exactly was the end goal of that test in there?
And the doll kind of like looks back to the door and he says, that one is simply anatomy, learning the features of... I couldn't even tell you what that humanoid is. I believe that girl wants to be a doctor. She plans to use her arcane abilities, blessed with by the gods, to save those that dying of many different afflictions. So in order to reconstruct something, it's better if you know how it's supposed to function in the first place.
So
I
that
think
person
Deku
wasn't really being experimented on as much as they were being saved?
They were dead for some time.
That didn't look dead. Dead don't move.
Magic, my friend. They were one of the individuals who had dedicated their body for the study, for science. Many of those here choose to donate themselves after death to further research and develop our connection both to the physical as well as, well, the divine and mystical.
Hugo's gonna be trying to feel, now that she's seen one soul, like just if their souls wander, like in
An
this area.
additional religion check.
Feel the souls, the lost souls.
So just from our perspective, we just saw the body with the heart pumping and then
Just
half
stopped.
opened her mouth and just nothing.
You heard the gust of wind as well.
Okay.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
I think Deku made
Yeah.
that unfortunate girl fail her test.
My
Our doll-
religion check of +1. 14.
14. Our doll with like a smile across his face and says, I think that's safe to say. Unfortunately. It's alright. She shows a lot of promise.
Can I not
I'm
use
sure she'll
survival
pass.
instead of religion?
Actually would say you can use survival.
Okay, that's
Thinking
better.
about this, you could have used survival for the other one too.
Well, it would have been like over a 25 then. But we're doing 26. if that
So what's
matters.
for this one?
Dirty 20 this time.
As you now having that feeling with a source to focus on, you start to kind of like think,
Doesn't she have
and
a
you
plus-
realize you can
plus 7?
feel
She rolled
entities
13.
or
Why did you say
souls
26 last time?
all around you.
I rolled a 19.
Natural
Oh, wait. I
20.
rolled a natural 20. You're right. It was 27 last time. Sorry. Go.
You feel lost in a river of souls. Think almost like Hercules when he jumps into the river and there's
So there's
souls all around
tons
him.
of souls in here.
As soon as you start to think about it, you can feel that they're everywhere, but you can't see any of them. Before you had a focal point, now you simply know they're near. You don't know where they are, and
Particularly lost souls, like trapped souls,
yes,
right? Okay.
All my sheep.
She's about to
I
cook
will
up.
shepherd you from this place.
She's about to cook up.
Ardal
a
at this
stew
point
with
gestures
sticks.
again towards the stairs, and he says, "Well, unless you have something else you're looking to do, can we continue? I don't like playing escort, really."
Well, Ordal, I do have a question for you. Out of
Well,
all
he-
these experiments, do any of them happen to be experimenting on a silver or celestial dragon?
I can't.
platinum.
I can't say that we have any.
Platinum or divine?
As far as I know, I can't say we have any dragons in our experiments or that have been donated.
I need
Um,
dragon parts
Dragon parts, yes, of course.
of Platinum.
Or divine.
I'm unfamiliar with
Platinum. It's a color of a metallic dragon.
I'm as far as I
Like-
know.
Do you have like a leg of like Bahamut or something floating around here?
I can't say we do. If
Like
we
maybe
do,
Bahamut shank,
it's well above my pay grade. I don't work
a liver
for the
or
Rosilian
something?
Chapel.
Dang.
Do dragons even have
I was
livers?
so sure we were gonna find that here.
It was worth a shot.
You seem to be misunderstanding. I am a member of the Crimson Covenant. I work for Razu, not for this place.
Oh, you're part of. So are we. Look at our outfits.
Wrong
wearing
word.
silver.
Silver.
Be claiming.
I can understand why Razu left. He's gonna be better off now.
Not Razu, right?
We've learned, but to say it is not Razu is inaccurate.
They seem quite different to me.
Two halves of a whole,
No.
still each a piece.
One piece trying to take over the whole.
Yes, Razu.
Not from what I understood it, not from how he explained it to us.
Razu retreated. He admitted it to us ourselves. Admitted it to us. Himself, sorry.
Which means Squawk, the piece, took over the whole.
I doubt it. Plus, if he has his way, Razu will be back at the end.
Obviously.
I don't see any folly in that. Again, I have no attachment to this place, so if it should fall, it should fall. We're not on good terms with Razakar. Under Razu, my first dedication would be to Zaprakar. So, that is why I have no hesitation in showing you what I can here, Tiku.
Can I just do like an Arcana check on the door that only Squawk is allowed to enter? Just out of curiosity, is it like attuned to a certain wavelength soul thing?
Tiku's gonna.
Without doing something like an identify check, you would not be able to. You would be able to tell that it's got it is magically locked, but as far as how you would unlock it,
When you don't have the identify spell.
Tiku's gonna let out a little bit of a growl when he says that.
you're gonna let out a little bit of ground. Then what? Sorry.
When he was saying that.
In response to what Ardell said.
Okay. Calm little. I was going to call you a dragon. Calm little kobold. Again, I have no hostility toward you. Friend of Razu is a friend of mine. And, as of right now, did you not come to accept his invitation? I'm simply taking you to him.
Tiku just keeps walking and trying, like, feeling the souls if there's any near that she can, or more powerful, or especially any kobold souls around.
Okay. So as you go to the edge of the stairs, you immediately almost feel almost like a gust of wind. Again, cold, similar feeling to the first door you had opened up. Not to the point that it's actually freezing to you, but chilling almost. Almost like ghastly in feeling would be a better way to describe it. Tiku, you being like the most involved and the first person who's saying you're doing this, you're the first one who actually starts to head down these stairs. The stairs are, you go down a good set of, like a flight of 30 stone stairs as you go down into what is more so what is like a stone basement. The walls made of like gray stone. But as you start to follow what is now another hallway, you see that the stone starts to almost get variations in color. There's blues, yellows, whites, golds that seem to start to blend into the rock, almost looking like precious stones or different kinds of sediment. You start to smell this mixed in with still that scent of almost like scale or cobalt. You start to smell the smells of like almost like spring flowers. You smell the sea. You smell meat, like beef, freshly killed prey, ready to be cooked. As you follow it for a good another 20 paces, it you make it to a cross where there's a path you can take to the right and the left. Multiple doors both ways, and at the end of each hall, a door that kind of like caps out each one. Ardal, kind of like flanking up behind you, just gestures forward and says, "For right now, we should simply continue forward. We'll only be making one turn to arrive at our destination. You're welcome to explore all of it after I escort you. I just don't really want to go on a sightseeing tour right now, if you don't mind.
As long as I don't hear any noises or like.
Oh, you definitely do. As you make it to the tea and you start to listen, the smell of like kobold mixed with other races is strong in every direction. In addition to that, you not only can smell the kobolds, but you can also almost like hear faint whispers. Not of a haunting sort, but of like a murmur of people that are like trying to talk. Can't quite make out the words, but just whispers or like silent cries almost echoing lightly through the halls. You two in particular would very, very much so hear this as well. All of you would take notice of it. I would actually say with the perception that you two have, because remind me again, passive perception.
21, I'm pretty sure it's fine.
21 and dirty 20. Actually, no, because you rolled a 17, right? That's what you said.
Okay.
You got a passive of 16.
So no, you guys would just hear again what is almost like whispers and slight cries. As you kind of like stop and you start to look around, Ardal again addressing you says,
Yeah, my survival was 20.
"They don't go away, and you're not going to be able to stop them all now. If you want to, best bet is to speak with the Alchemist."
Is this guy gonna backstab us as soon as we get to the Alchemist?
It's possible.
I don't think the DM can answer that question.
Oh, he
Yes,
can.
DM,
He chooses
please
not to.
inform me of all your plans.
Will you be leaving when we get to the Alchemist?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Will you be leaving when we get to the Alchemist?
No, I will be staying with you. I'm waiting for Razu to return. Think of me as his bodyguard or his shadow.
So, quick question.
I have a way for Razu to return, but I have to knock out Squawk to do it.
Oh, that's fine. In fact, I'd be happy to help you do that.
Cool. Maybe I'll forgive you.
This guy was like one
Or
of
at
the
least not kill you.
effectively immortal people, right?
Yes. This is one of the members of the Crimson Covenant that had kidnapped Tiku. You figured out that she had agreed to go with them afterwards.
So, where's your main body?
That's an excellent question. I haven't seen it in a while. They get moved around a lot. That said, for what it's worth, we are going to show you a core. I think that's part of why he invited you here.
Well, I guess we go forward.
Okay. So as you follow this, assuming that you don't choose to deviate, as you continue to follow it, not but another 10 paces, it again crosses, and you can again hear whispers or
I'll
murmurs.
grab any souls if
almost.
I find any along the way.
The problem you're running into here is they're so prevalent that you can't lock any of them down. They seem to overlap, and to the point that when you try to focus on them, it is almost overwhelming. The murmurs seem to go to an unbearable
deafening,
point.
yeah.
So you can't make out individual words, you can't make out individual souls, but you know that they are everywhere.
You know, like,
The most common theme that you get
Rubbing our
is
ears.
that trapped, can't leave. Where's the door? This isn't what I was promised. Effectively, complaints of the fact that they seem to be stuck or trapped.
You
Ever
start
seen-
rubbing our ears.
you ever seen the Three Musketeers at the beginning when they're in the dungeon? You just hear all of the people talking.
Like that, but a little bit, but lower. You can't actually hear or make out any of them. It is much more to like a silent murmur. It's almost as if it sounds like people trying to talk, but they don't have the strength to. Hey. With that, as you follow it past that next T, the last one ends in a dead end where it just T's. And then he directs you to the right. So you've effectively gone through 3 separate like intersections. On this third one, he takes you down the right path. There is 2 doors that you pass on the right. And again, as you walk past them, especially those of you with higher perception, you can more clearly hear what is almost like whispers. And as you walk past the second door, you actually hear like audible whispers. And And these are less whimpers, more so it sounds like a conversation that's happening. Ardal kind of ushers you to continue, not in an overly pushy way, but just continues to direct unless you guys elect to stop. But he's directing you to the end where there's a door that kind of caps out the hallway.
Can I just slow my pace slightly just to try and catch some words?
Make an active perception check as you try and catch it.
I probably would too.
27.
You can make your own. If you want to, if you guys kind of like hang back to kind of, and you get up at the more like the back of the line.
Mine's only 15.
Yours is what?
15.
Mine's only 15.
Okay. Hard to make out. You catch like pieces of words. You're able to get a single phrase. You're not stopping. You're kind of getting and passing. You get a single phrase of, seems this one didn't last that long either. Another failure. And then the other voice that responds to it says, no worries. That's the last bit you're able to catch.
Any voice I recognize, member of the Crimson Covenant, just random.
There do not seem to be voices that you recognize. With that, Ardal gets to the end of the hallway, and as soon as he kind of gets there, he waits for you guys all to catch up to him, and he says, well, may I introduce you to the true center of the Brazilian Lab. As he kind of like reaches out, he pushes the door open. As soon as he pushes it open, the smell of kobold is immediately, or like the smell of like dragon or almost sediment, is immediately overtaken by a wide influx of just varying smells.
Right as she does that, checking on, seeing what's going on in the
Aerith. The lecture.
Yeah. I had like 5 names in my head.
Okay.
I'm checking with Aerith.
Okay, so hold that thought for a moment. For you, for the rest of you, as he opens up the door, the smells that immediately overtake you, the whimpers almost immediately get drowned out by the sound of almost something that sounds like a turning wheel, just as it almost like a water wheel that is spinning on its own. With is a little bit creaky is kind of like the sound that comes through. Mixed in with that is multiple different conversations happening. You hear the clang of a pick hitting stone. Looking in, you see a very odd sight as you see a stone-wrapped room. The roof seems to go out of sight into almost like a blackness, higher than it should for the structure that you guys were the structure you guys were on before. Just looking at the height for how far you went down, that should be going above ground. The walls seem to be coated in almost like blue and white sediment. There's trees of like wild colors kind of growing in the corners. There's immediately like a heat wave that kind of comes in from the left side. As you can see, almost like a pit of lava. In addition to that, there are multiple tubes kind of centered in these different pieces of the room. The lava has a tube that there seems to be what appears to be a human, but also a kobold. It is a human in terms of like the way that their torso looks, but their knees kind of bend back like a kobold would. They have scales to their arm. The arms are a little bit longer, and its face is almost a little bit more pointed like a kobold. In a similar fashion, there's another tube over on the right, and when I say tube, I mean like almost like a glass casing that they're locked in. There's another one that seems to be surrounded by rocks. There's a kobold to the left of it that has a large, almost clear blue stone that's mining it with a pick. The kobold almost seemingly aimless in design as he almost seems to mindlessly be mining away at this. A small pack on his back where he's picking up the small sediments, throwing them in the pack. Across the room from you, and this is a very large room, a good like 120 feet to the other end of this room, there's a table that has what appears to be similar, like almost like a cadaver, but the cadaver again looks odd. The chest is opened up. It has kobold wings kind of outstretched from it, but the kobold wings seem to be attached to a Luxodon in the actual torso. The table itself, you almost can hear the table creaking under the weight of the Luxodon.
Do you mean to say dragon wings?
No, kobold wings.
Kobolds have wings?
They can.
I did not know that.
Even if they can't even if they can't in D&D, they can in my world.
There 100% are winged kobolds in D&D.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yes, he's got, effectively, it looks like they put kobold wings on a Luxodon. They removed his trunk and instead gave him a bird's beak. The bird's beak having almost like jagged teeth. It very clearly seems to be dead, but it almost seems like they're putting it together. It's like a homunculus of a cadaver. Does not seem to be alive. The individual standing over it has he looks like a satyr. He's got hooves for feet, kind of like a little bit of bend at the legs. His torso, however, seems to be that of a leonin, but his head is that of a human. His left arm seems to be that of a dragonborn. His right arm seems to be that of a human as well. Again, just looking off in almost an amalgamation, but he is currently moving. Again, seemingly mindless. In the center of the room, there is a large, almost green puddle that has almost like a blue light that is bleeding off of the green puddle, almost contrasting the puddle at the center, the light it's giving off. And you see Squawk, arms currently folded, hunched over, looking inside, with a kobold to his right as he calls out. He says, "Yes. Now, Legion." The kobold reaches in and almost like its hand almost seems to deteriorate in a very similar way to what you guys have seen before, where almost like the rapid aging, what you started to see with Roko, as the kobold's hand immediately starts to age rapidly as he kind of like pulls out this string or this like stream of some kind of a blue essence. He pulls it out, and Squawk at this point, unfolding his arms, says, "Yes." He grabs it and kind of like turns and starts to walk over to another table where a kobold is currently strapped to a table. He looks awake but almost unconscious at the same time. His eyes are almost like kind of glazed over. He's kind of hunched back. He has what is almost like a leather strap that is around his head, strapped to the back, and his arms are on the armrest. He kind of just like looking forward as Squawk moves over to him.
A moment, Squawk.
And that's where we're going to go to break. As we need to figure out what exactly Squawk is doing beneath the Rosilian lab. So yes, we will be back in just a little bit if you want to send us the break, Trinity. And we will see you guys in just a second. And we're back. All right.
A moment, Squawk.
As you call it to Squawk, and he's walking over towards the kobold, he kind of stops, looks over towards the door, and he goes,
Welcome. We're just, Well, we're in the middle of what we were waiting for you for. So, I suppose we can just get things started.
Oh,
As
to announce inspiration.
actually, that is important. Tigu got inspiration, just used it, and you have it back.
Yay, I
Seems
didn't
like
waste
the universe
it.
likes her.
Tigu got inspiration.
Okay. In that short time, that's all I took to look in freaking to work with arrows there.
So
Was there anything off?
as you look back through Eris' eyes for a moment before effectively returning, you noticed initially there was effectively just a lecture was going on. There was an individual at the top that seemed almost like to be pulling magic from the fires and using it in his demonstration. And as you start to look at it more, he is actually casting a spell. He is not he is not simply teaching a lesson. He is pulling from the fire and effectively creating and crafting a spell. In addition to that, as soon as you notice that, now getting more and more suspicious that something would be off, see Eric kind of like takes a look around the room. You notice that kind of stationed on the outer edges of the room, there are additional individuals who, while subtle, are also weaving and spellcrafting. In total, there is 9 individuals, including the individual at the front, who all seem to be casting a spell.
Here, my intuition was on point.
I mean, so was mine.
With that, is there anything you do before we go back to the situation at hand?
I don't have anything I can do.
Are they
Oh,
feeding
hopefully they
anything
can-
in the room that we're in, the alchemy room? Or are they like
Have
casting
Eric
something
just
else?
dive bomb at him to break his
Can
concentration.
they not tell like if the magic's being fed down or anything? Like the flow of the magic?
No, they're pulling in magic to cast a spell, but the spell hasn't been cast. They're absorbing.
No, Jasmine, no.
Shirley said that. They're already sacrificing everyone. Jasmine's already fully aware of what's happening.
Okay, so back into the room at hand. As you guys are, as Squawk has said, we begin. He continues to walk over to the kobold and kind of just gestures for you guys to come in and just holding his hand. Says, "Come."
Are any of the kobolds alive still? Or are all their souls floating like?
As you kind of like take a quick glance around, and you look at the kobolds that again just kind of just mining whatever this white and light blue stone is. You do not have any sense of life or a soul from them. However, the kobold that is currently sitting in the chair, not only do you have a sense of life from, you recognize.
You mean the stretcher?
No, there's a kobold that is actually just like sat into it, or effectively mounted into a chair. There's another kobold that is in a glass tube. Specifically, he'd be the one that would be over directly to your right. There's almost like it almost looks like a tub full of ice, and the edges of it are also made out of ice. It's like a ice-walled tub that has water inside that's been frozen separately, and then there's a glass tube kind of like fused in with it. The kobold's feet kind of blended in with the ice. That kobold seems to almost have rock-like features to him, almost like he started to become elemental in nature. But apart from that is all the kobolds that are in here. And then for apologies, I don't have his note. You know that he's here, and you do recognize this kobold, but my notes closed during break for some reason, and I don't remember his name offhand. One sec, I'm just pulling it up. Tiku.
The only...
Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's why I
Tags?
didn't pull up.
Oh no,
Okay.
sorry. Gegs. It's Gegs.
No, this is Ubi.
Wait, what?
This is Ubi.
Oh, Ubi's the other one. Okay.
Yes. Gegs is the one that you saw in that initial scry, effectively. this is not that room that you saw him in, nor is this the same kobold. This is Ubi, who is a member of your initial troop that had left the island looking for a new protector. Again, he is kind of blankly staring forward, and in terms of, he is a black kobold for the color of his scales.
But he's still alive?
The only thing I could try to do is try to ascertain like what kind of spell it is.
Make a
Arcana.
it would be an Arcana. I was debating on making it a history, but it would definitely be an Arcana. Ubi does seem to, as you've gotten a little bit more in tune with this as you've been walking through, he does still seem to have his soul about him, but he is seemingly just, think like feeble mind. He's just looking forward, like mouth kind of slightly open, drool kind of slightly pouring off. And Squawk has, at this point, has made his way directly in front of him, holding whatever that almost like blue and white essence that was pulled from that circle in the middle. The kobold that helped him there, while displaying other racial features, mainly of humans and humans and halflings for that kobold. That one does not seem to be cognizant at all, as it seems to have just stopped in the middle. Its hand, very much so, decayed or aged to an extreme degree. With that, the Squawk over has effectively just walked over to the kobold.
I would summon Nalrith as soon as I entered the room.
Okay. As you enter into the room, your Malrith now also seeing it be a larger room, just kind of, as you guys have now a large gold dragon that has spawned near you, familiar to you. She also has her wings are much more pronounced as well. The almost like the hide feature have gone much less of like the Fey-like essence they had before, but now have much more of a physical, almost like fleshy, I think would be the best way to say that, even though that sounds gruesome, attire to them. I assume everyone is entering into the lab rather than just standing in the hallway, right?
As soon as my thing's over. 'Cause right now I can't walk anywhere.
True. What is your Arcana check?
27.
27. Do you know this spell? Sorry, let me double check one thing.
More trying to like ascertain the range and the intent of it mostly.
Also, what level? I see we know that.
Okay. I'll tell you that you can tell the level immediately just from the power that's building. This is very clearly a 9th level spell.
At least it's not 10th.
And then the spell itself with a 27.
I don't need to know all the particulars, but just trying to get like the general range and the intent. If possible.
They're performing a lich circle. They're going to sacrifice them all to become a lich.
The range is 150 feet, so a 60-foot radius.
75-foot radius.
It would be a 75-foot radius, yes. Effectively, it seems to be encompassing that whole room. You don't know the spell exactly, but you know it's necromancy.
Shit.
Manifest Mind, counterspell.
I think Manifest Mind still has a range.
Yeah,
I don't actually
it's got a range.
You're
No
6 stories down. You'd be multiple hundreds of feet as well
I was
as...
saying I didn't know if they had range or not.
Alright. Well, Aerith, try to disrupt the class.
What exactly do you want her to do?
Attack the guy in the
Just
middle.
dive bomb the professor.
As you give Aerith her instruction, you get like a little bit of like a... Oh no! And then you break the connection as Aerith just and is just diving towards the man at the front, and then you end up back in the hallway as Aerith dive bombs.
I'm surprised you didn't like try to like subtly draw everybody's attention to those casters. No.
How?
Well, no, it's because they're all like they all think this is part of the demonstration, which it is.
They do not understand the danger.
The 8 other casters, they might not know.
No, they just think this is part of the demonstration.
I guarantee you, someone has noticed the other 8 casters and has not said anything.
Like, oh, this is just be part of it. Okay.
I mean, if there was like windows, you could like skywrite something and have it draw people's attention
We are
to the window.
currently in the lab beneath the Rosilian Chapel.
A man in the middle of the room just being freaking like
attacked by a bird. Put a pin in that to see what happens.
Imagine he loses concentration. We just hear boom.
But yeah.
The castle shapes.
As you kind of
Yeah, sorry. I just have that picture in my head. But yeah, so I just move on with my day and get ready for the
master
next
plan
pub.
thwarted by getting pegged by a bird. Okay. Back in character. At this point, Squawk making his way over towards in this Gibu. Ubi. Yes, sorry, I was mixing the two names. Ubi. As he takes that essence, it reminds you of the souls that you actually collect.
Ubi, I will step between them.
He is like
several
he's
dozen
like
feet
more
away.
than 100 feet away from you.
Well,
So you'll run between them.
Run between them.
Okay. So what he has done is, as he moves up a little bit closer, he reaches onto his back. He kind of moves it over to his hand. He reaches onto his back and grabs what you would recognize to be almost the form of Razu's scythe, but as he pulls it off, it seems to change, and it almost forms into more of what you would think of it like a medieval medical saw blade. As he pulls it out
running now.
and then starts to effectively coat the blade with this liquid.
I will be following Tiku.
I'm gonna be walking up within 30 feet.
Hold. As Tiku sees what's going on, and Tiku just you like go to start to run, Ardal does reach out and attempts to restrain you. So he is effectively going to attempt to grapple you.
Not
She'll
stopping.
drag him with him. With her.
How far
He like
away?
grabs on and just.
How close am I? Am I
This man is
adjacent?
good.
You guys are all
shit.
in,
I'm going to use my ability to impose disadvantage.
That's
on
good,
that roll
'cause-
to Tiku.
because that's a 31 from him.
But she can't even beat that.
Oh wow. I had natural 20, but I still can't
He
beat.
also natural 20'd. However, he didn't there. That's 23.
I'm in 30, so.
Okay.
Natural 20
As he
is
like
30
kind of
for me.
reaches out to grab you, he actually gets a firm grip,
Actually, it's
and
my-
you're
my-
about to stop him. And Clay
slap his
Peatman
hand.
kind of like just reaches over and slaps. He's like, "Stop!" And he just kind of like it's not even as much as you dispose
Like,
it.
what
He's
the
just like, "What the?" And then
And
in that
I go.
moment, Tiku's like, "Yeah," and just
I want to
immediately starts.
I want to
to
slap him and go, Clay Beekman, and rip off my disguise.
as you rip off the fake nose, he looks and he's, this is not going to go well for her. As Tiku, as you just in an immediate sprint head towards the middle of the room, you get to about halfway through to where you're probably a good like 20 paces from him. As this is about when he finishes coating the blade, as you would have taken action fairly quick.
I'm going to call
based
out
on
to
the-
Ubi's soul then. So if I realize that I'm not going to make it in time,
Well, the way that you don't make it is the reason this is important. As you get to the middle of the room and you're running towards them, you need to make a dexterity saving throw. Or sorry, strength saving throw. Apologies. DC 18.
19.
19. Okay, and so what you guys see is as Tiku runs through the middle of this room, as soon as she hits that blue light that is kind of almost emanating from that green circle, that whatever this essence, this magic that Squawk had the kobold pull that essence out of, she hits and then starts to move a little bit slower. You watch as, in a similar fashion, what you've seen, her skin almost starts to decay just by being in proximity to whatever this is. But even though it kind of like it slows you down, and this is where you almost like come to a little bit of a halt in the middle, and this is where you would be able to call out to Ubi's soul as well. You feel almost like you're aging, or it's weirdly like your body feels like you have some kind of a disease, but rather than it trying to fight it, it's giving to it. It's just seceding, like if you had given up and your body was no longer trying to fight off a disease that was slowly killing you. With that, though, especially with the sense of purpose in front of you, you're able to almost like take a mental control of your body and it like take back control or get it to start to fight again. You're able to start to move. The decay on your skin slows and almost starts to reverse slightly. At this point, what do you actually want to call out to Ubi? And then you also could continue to move. This is just where you're at right now.
Tiku is here. I know she's very late. But I've come to take you home.
Make a persuasion check. I'm going to say with this, with advantage, not disadvantage.
Persuasion? -1. 14.
14. As you call out to Ubi and effectively the essence that, from what you know, would make up his soul, you watch as almost that glazed nature to his eyes almost seems to come back a little bit. His head just kind of slightly turns down and looks towards you. His mouth closing, the drool still being on the side as it kind of like slightly turns. And as soon as you do, and Squawk has coated the blade, he looks towards Ubi, then looks back towards you. He goes, "Oh."
And what happens with the soul?
Ubi's soul still seems to be effectively within him. Doesn't seem to be answering to you. It just seems to have almost noticed you. At this point, you're able to continue to walk.
I'm going to focus on the blade. It looks like a soul too, right?
It very much so does.
I'm going to try to pull that instead.
As you reach out and try to pull whatever that is, you realize while it gives you, it feels like, almost it feels and looks like a soul, you realize in trying to pull it in, it's almost like perversed, blended, multiple souls. It effectively has turned into an amalgamation, an unresponsive one. It's almost as if the essences of multiple individuals have been blended together. As Squawk actually takes a step back with the metal, with this again almost like medical saw. As you walk up to Ubi now looking directly at you. He's just he kind of like shifts his head to the other side. And Squawk looking over says, "Fascinating. I see. I understand now. This is a marvelous development." So you said that you want to be approach. Ardal was basically, he comes up with you as you're walking as well. Upon seeing what happened to Tiku when she had walked through that kind of like blue essence or that shadow that covers the middle of the room, are you going to still walk through it?
I will stop there and ask Ardal. What happens if I walk through?
He, in almost like almost concerned, he goes, "I'm not entirely sure, actually. I can't say I've ever been willing to venture past this point in here. From what I can tell, it seems to age you, or decay you. Some have the wherewithal to resist it, and some," as he gestures to that almost like zombified satyr homunculus that is currently almost operating on that cadaver on the table, he says, "Some become whatever that is." With that said, while she handles that, I told you we'd show you a call. Well, for the rest of you, you're kind of focused on your little interaction, but for the rest of you, he gestures towards this almost like pit of lava in the left on the left part of the room. Looks out of place. There's rocks that have been almost like piled up and magically melded together to keep the lava from spilling into the rest of the room. There's a glass tube in the middle of it with what is a fairly thinned and almost like malnourished looking Zestaria. She is seemingly floating in some kind of a red liquid, like a very much so like almost like a vat inside of this tube. As Ardal kind of gesturing over to it, he says, "Behold, the core of the one that you know, the Zestaria, child of black, the wizard." He's got weird names here, but if I could direct your attention, effectively he's just showing you this vat that seems to be containing Zestaria. What are the rest of you doing? This is specific to you three, actually, you four. I know what these two are doing. What were you doing?
I would also, as an action, not hostile yet, but I would cast darkness, and the lower half of my
any
body.
casting of a spell is a hostile action.
I mean,
Unless you like specifically like ask them, like tell them, and then be like, "Hey, is it cool I cast the spell?"
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, sure, go for it."
I would just turn our all. This isn't hostile yet. As I would cast darkness, and my shadow would just raise, engulfing the bottom half of my
It's
body.
okay. He follows his laws.
This isn't hostile yet.
Okay.
That's what you're saying. Like, oh, don't worry, I'm just loading this gun.
My shadow would just.
on it on you yet.
My shadow would just envelop the bottom half of my body.
I'm how close am I to TQ?
As you attempt to cast your spell,
I'm not. How far away is she?
you actually feel it. You actually like almost like feel the magic at your fingertips as you start to cast, and then it almost immediately ends, almost like someone's taken it away. As you realize you currently don't have access to your magic, your shadow being in this basement, the almost like that little bit of that thick nature you know that would accompany your shadow immediately seems to vanish. The shadow becoming normal, almost kind of like a split due to the angle you're at, to the candlelight that illuminates the room along with the lava. Your magic is not working at all.
Does it matter that, like, I'm using it as flavor for all of my magic, but this actually isn't magic based?
What is it?
Shadow Arts Monk.
This is a feature? Yes.
This is a darkness feature. I'm pretty sure.
Read it to me real quick.
Let me see it.
I will read it. Let's go here.
While he's reading that, I just want to do a perception check to find
Spend
how
one
to use
focus.
this bronze key.
Yeah,
I've
you
been
cast the
given.
darkness spell.
It's a spell. Yeah.
It's a spell.
How far
Feature.
am I from everybody else? 100 feet? 150 feet?
Probably about 60 feet.
60 feet? 60 feet.
What bronze?
You're 60 feet.
What bronze key was he doing?
Back to Raul's
my movement speed.
room.
Oh, woe is me not being
The
as
one the
fast
puppet
as I
gave me.
used to
Yeah, the small key that he was given. As you kind of like look at the key, and look about, the first thing you notice is that each of those glass tubes have a lock on them. Whether or not your key fits it, hard to know. But each of the different glass tubes for each of the different creatures in here has a key on it. With that, in addition
How
to
many-
your magic not working, the same sensation that Tiku had felt earlier, that cold feeling, again, almost more accurate to say ghastly feeling. But for you, instead of almost like haunting possession, it is instead a feeling like something is watching you, hunting you even.
I would take off my disguise and yell out to Squawk. I don't know exactly how that worked. My initial plan was to use prestidigitation to get rid of it, but that doesn't work anymore.
I mean, you're wearing a bird head. There's no way that
It's a mask.
it's a mask.
It's
For
more like
sure.
a mask with the top. So it'd effectively be like the bottom of you is still a Kenku, and you'd be taking off the headpiece.
It's a costume, basically.
Squawk, what did you do? As you notice, my eyes turn black, and now my pupil is red.
Looks over, turns to you. Memories. Well, many things, all along the lines of my goal, which I now realize is achievable.
Tiku's gonna down a poison resistance potion while we're here, or right now.
As Tiku's next to Ubi and kind of like
Next to
looking
and
about.
then a growth potion and like grow to a bigger size so I can better protect
So
Ubi.
you start with the anti, it's effectively the anti venom.
Okay.
Is what you'd be drinking. And you were gonna
Go get him, champ. I cast haste on Gurgle. I was about to call him Zephyr.
Ardal looking at each
Why do you?
is
Why is it now
you thinking
achievable?
this is going to go hostile? You seem to all be posturing very aggressively. I thought the purpose here was to talk.
I haven't done anything.
I was specifically looking
Other
around
than, like,
the star.
Am I supposed to be going to kill him?
Okay. As so you move over to the lava pit is a good probably about 8 feet to the actual vat.
In the lava?
The lava,
The
the
bird.
vat or the
That
tube.
one, over there. You're just in that direction.
The tube the tube that's centered in the ice is built into the ice to the point that the creature is almost
You're saying ice
infused
and
with the
lava.
ice. Mm-hmm.
Which
There's lava on the left that has a vat inside of it. There's ice on the right. It almost looks like a basin full of water that's been frozen. There's a vial in that. There's also rock that has a vial in that has almost like sediment around it. There is white and almost like clear white and blue stones scattered all about the room, and then there's almost like a forest area with what appears to be almost like different trees of varying colors across the room from you that has another vat in it, and then there's a table that has like a cadaver being almost like experiment on it with a station behind him.
Where's Zestaria?
Zestaria is in the vat that is above the lava.
Okay.
So we should do something real quick because whatever they're doing upstairs is not okay. Some necromantic magic, probably gonna sacrifice all the people upstairs. So we should probably just
Kalai
do this.
must have been telling me to go kill them.
I would then say, "Where's your family?"
Oh, I think we're done with this lightning bolt.
Oh dear.
That would
Right.
that would get to start it. However, before you do,
Yeah.
the answer to your question is you say, "Where's your family?" He goes, "Yeah." The medical saw blade still in his hand as well. Who are you wanting to cast lightning bolt on?
Wait, do I get
Well, it's technically the fireball thing, but yeah.
It's a firebolt.
Well, for the sake of that, then he is going to cast a spell, and then everybody gets to roll initiative. As that would start combat.
Oh, great.
Well then.
Wait, I didn't get to
I just
ask
did-
him why he thinks he can do it now.
Too late.
I tried.
I was like, there's crazy shit going on upstairs. And now we're talking about feelings and shit. I'm like, nope, we're moving on.
Oh, it is what it is. We have got
I cannot roll bad this session. God damn.
They're just trying to delay us. We're going upstairs. It's not good for us, I promise you.
Oh, computer.
right. Oh, how centered that light.
What is this map? Hold on.
All right. So I need to put all of you. Oh, goodness.
Where are all the bad guys?
Squawk is over here.
We're gonna assume blueberry.
This is on the ground.
Oh, I thought it was cutting off the room in half. I see.
Those pieces. It's Kalmia. Gurgo, Tiku. Here. There we go. Not said that he moved up. And then where's Kang?
You already put.
Or sorry, where is Mr. Clay Beekman? I'm not seeing a mini. I have multiple playlists that are all going simultaneously.
We're gonna need a lot of saves. So how many enemies do we have?
2?
Ooh.
Possibly
Four
3.
happening here?
Yes, that is a cage full of body parts.
Probably not a good person.
Cage full of body parts. And these are the vats, right?
Yes, the
Yeah, I got
these
it.
are
If I double the radius,
I got
how
it,
big
yeah.
is that?
I love like the fungus little balls. Like,
Mr. Beekman, you're a guard from currently. Because I remember we were using a card, but I don't remember
this
which
is
one
20.
it was. And I
That's
don't know where it
20.
is. And then
That's the part.
So just count.
there's a black one too.
yeah.
Why is zombie?
He's technically matching.
This is like not big. So whatever I
Which one
think.
has weight?
Pretty much everyone.
Okay, good.
Which one has weight?
You'll be missing this guy. That's it.
Okay.
Apologies. One is so the one in the middle is supposed to have wings.
The blue one?
Yeah. I have a blue cobalt with wings.
Okay.
So we will replace him. This one.
Where's a Dar? Ardal.
That was the other mini I'm missing. I knew I was missing something.
He knew he was
Is
missing
all our,
something.
our doll not the guard?
No, Ardal's like right here.
No, that is the guard is Mr. Clay Beekman, freshly revealed. Surprise, surprise. No one knew the difference. Okay,
You
so
fell for my ruse.
first off, we're going to do initiative real quick. Initiative on them is very low. They were very much so not paying attention. 5 is the number to beat, folks.
Good job on this map.
I mean, it was
How
both
high
of
is
us.
the ceiling?
You can't see the top.
Wait, why is there like there's ice and lava? Like this is like a
No idea.
room, man.
Why indeed? Oh, that
Like a
is-
whole
that got
ecosystem
really loud all of a
around here.
sudden.
Sorry, guys.
Alright, I'm still just gonna start with my normal opener.
Okay, and then I need to know who you're hitting.
Well, I mean, I can effectively take out like half the room.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Who you all shooting to hit? Are you just not shooting to hit your group? Like,
Okay.
You guys can hit this guy, this guy, this guy.
Pretty much, I'm assuming
this guy.
everyone's an
Basically,
enemy that's
you
not
this
like
half the room that way. You can miss Tiku and Kaya.
is that what you want to
hit
do?
everyone else.
Is that music
This
loud,
guy,
Jasmine?
This guy, 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 and
Okay, these are
Gelatinous Cube.
These are kobolds?
Yes.
They are an amalgamation. They are
Some of them
kind of
are?
kobolds and other races as well.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely hitting those guys.
The only ones that are
this man is.
the only so this guy is a full kobold.
Yeah, that's Ubi.
Okay, leave Ubi alone, obviously.
And then
I hit.
actually he's the only one who'd be full kobold. Oh wait, sorry, the kobold that this vat is as well. Also, I forgot to mention this. You would recognize that one as well.
That one's good.
That is Gex, right?
Gigs, yeah.
Yes.
That one's good.
That is Gex.
Here, like this general room, and I'm just avoiding Ubi.
And Gigs is the red
We'll
one.
basically hit everyone.
Don't hit the face of the back.
What is the radius?
It's 40-foot radius.
40-foot radius, and then it's a little loud. Okay, let me turn it down a little bit.
At 8 level. Using my 7 level spell slot.
Let me know if that's better. My music has been a disaster today. I'm sorry. Okay.
Maxed out.
Let's just have Zephyr just shot the room.
I'm gonna roll for all the effectively the kobold-esque individuals, and then I'm gonna roll for
Ardal and
for
then
Razu
Squawk?
or Squawk. Yeah, kobolds all failed for sure. That's a 2 on the die, and then I'm pretty dang sure that Squawk succeeded with an 18 on the die.
So
You gotta roll for Ardal
What is the
too.
save? I realized that I don't have Razu pulled up, and I need to real quick because he is using his stat block.
Dexterity saving throws.
If I'm not mistaken, dexterity is not his main stat.
Mine?
It's
Browsers?
probably not a bad
That's
stat.
probably not bad for
It's not
him.
bad.
I mean, he
but
only
he's
needs
proficient in it.
he only needs a +3 though.
That would still need a 16 dex.
I mean, I'm about to find out. It's taking.
I don't have a +3.
There we go.
Index. But I do have advantage on the save.
He does have advantage on spell saves, that's true.
I
Do you not
also-
have Razu in the campaign?
No, he does not. I actually noticed that.
I think he's unclaimed.
There should be an unclaimed characters.
I think he's in there. He's just unclaimed.
I found him. I found him.
Answers, I have
He
advantage.
actually got a +1. That's a failure. So he fails as well.
What's the
It's,
save?
Ardal.
You all, wait, Hiram.
Technically, he has advantage.
Hiram, wait. I have advantage on the save, and on top of that, you did
So a little after.
the blood thing, where you can roll the hemocraft die.
Not on saving throws.
So I'm
You did
pretty
it
sure we
similar-
did it
you
on
did it
saving
similar to
throws
fighters.
because fighter is the other one.
No.
So they don't double stack.
The answer is no, because he's also not exactly Razu right now. There's other features to this character. The answer
fair,
is
but I thought we
so
did-
Ardal succeeded. Everybody else failed.
Just because I'm curious, I thought we decided on doing it on saving throws and not skill checks because fighters do skill checks, and them having the same thing was
We will get back to that if you get Razu back.
okay.
For now, I'm going to function him the way that I have this set up.
108 lightning damage.
How much?
Oh,
108.
damn, huh, babe.
I just one shot everything real quick.
Pretty much.
I take.
Freaking lord.
And I get exhaustion.
As the kobolds drop like flies.
He also this guy and whatever this green thing is.
You're hitting this guy in the vat?
You're hitting the back?
Who's in the vat?
He has the option to.
You do not recognize this individual, for what it's worth.
I probably would avoid the things in the back because I think they're just being experimented on right now. I'd avoid
it's up to you. Are you or not?
I'd avoid the things in the vats.
Okay. All right.
Because the Staria is in one of them too, right?
So yeah,
Like,
so the Staria is that one.
Yeah.
And then this is Geggs. This is someone you do not know. And then someone is being experimented on the table. Apologies, I think I said before that there was 4 vats. There's not 4. There's the. Oh no, there is. There's one in this one too.
Okay.
The gelatinous cube.
The gelatinous cube is a vat. Yes.
Yeah. I avoid the vats.
Okay. So with that, majority of all of them drop. I'm pretty sure. Did anyone not beat a 5? I'm pretty sure all of you guys.
Got a 13.
By the way, this is just the Wyvern room all over again, just on a larger scale.
The wyvern? Oh.
Weird.
Okay. What are all the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna run towards Tiku. I got 40-foot movement, by the way. And people who are within 10 feet of me also have their movement speed increased by 10 feet.
That is 40.
Okay.
Tiku is there. So
Tiku's
she's
there.
still
You would have to action dash.
like 30. Yeah, she's still like 30 feet. away.
Those people around her, do they look hostile towards her?
This is Ubi, and then
might
that
be
is
hostile towards me
to
right
you. To you, that is Razu.
Roz is the only one next to me that's hostile.
Who's that other one?
That is
That's
Ubi.
Ubi.
Oh, that's Ubi. Okay. I thought Ubi was on the table.
He's in the
there's
chair,
one that- he's
technically.
in this chair.
He's in the chair.
Oh.
So he's like,
Well, then I am going to guiding bolt. Razu.
okay. Oh, wait, he's got
And I'm
It's
going
an
to use
attack
a
roll.
luck point to give me advantage.
Okay.
23 to hit.
It's a little low. 23 does hit. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit more then.
If it's too loud on the stream too, I can always turn it down on the board. So.
If it's too loud with this, then we'll probably turn it down on the board. So let me know if it ends up too loud, Jasmine. Appreciate you. What is it? Is it like that?
The 100x Hunter.
17 radiant damage, and the next attack against him has advantage.
Can I look at when he used guiding bolt? Why his magic worked? Did I see anything that stopped my magic?
Wait a minute.
I thought you were doing that on purpose, not gonna lie.
I was about to be like, did combat have to start before spells could work? Yeah.
He's totally right. Upon actually trying to cast your spell, it would not work.
Wait, would I have known that when I tried to cast haste on?
No, haste worked.
You were too close.
That said, does your concentration end?
Does it consume his concentration?
Well, concentration isn't casting the spell. The spell has already been cast.
Oh, I know.
This is the problem when you deal with homebrew stuff.
This isn't homebrewed.
Oh, really? Oh. You mean you're killing us with rules?
Areas of effect created by spells can't extend into the aura.
Active spells do get suppressed in the antimagic
They are
field.
suppressed.
That would mean gurgles would be suppressed.
Yes, the haste is currently suppressed.
Gurgle's not in range.
We'll try that.
No, 100%. Their spell is currently on gurgle. He's just concentrating on it.
Okay, no, never mind. Never mind. Ooh, sorry. Hope that wasn't loud.
So if gurgle enters it, it will
Okay,
suppress him.
so yeah, the guiding bolt would not work. It does not consume your action, though.
It does not consume my action.
Yes, nor would it consume a spell slot.
All
It
right.
just,
Well,
the
then
magic
I
doesn't
will
work.
whip out my crossbow and shoot
Okay,
a girl using
that would work because yes,
the,
I
using the
apologize.
same,
That
the
is.
same
consume his
roll.
action?
I don't believe so.
13.
Fun. Did.
That would make it a 21 instead of a 23.
Yeah, it says you can't take magic actions, which means that you didn't use your action. 21 instead of a 23. I think 21 actually might miss. No, it still hits.
Sweet. All right. So instead, he takes plus 3, so
Feel
8
like
piercing
character
and 3 lightning.
Almost gets hit by the lightning.
Oh wait, no.
Same amount of damage.
You feel the lightning go extra close. That is a question how Zephyr was able to cast through it, though.
He's not in the aura.
Indeed.
It's based on.
Okay.
No, because even spells that go through
I need the four of you.
field do not work.
Okay.
I need to know what you guys are doing.
I
I'm
will
gonna
actually.
interpose myself between Gerbu and
Okay. So you kind of push.
You say Gerbu?
Ubi.
Ubi.
Ubi, sorry.
I'm about to be like, I thought bro wasn't here, huh?
Gerbu is in Zinderhold.
Ubi and then... And then I'm gonna chug my
Your growth potion.
growth potion.
Push me out even more. Do we have large bases, right?
Actually, it would just be a medium creature. So I wouldn't actually take up any more.
That makes it easy then, because your base is already pretty much medium.
Yeah.
Which means that you want to push them out. Growth
sure.
potion consumed. Bonus action to consume the growth potion. Movement, you were effectively just moving in. You didn't have to shove him. Because there was a little bit of space there already. So what is your action?
I'm gonna ask him. What's the final piece?
Kind of like looks at you. And then he looks to Ubi behind you and says, "You." And kind of just has a broad smile. He says, "You are. You can see it already." As you almost kind of like with that, you kind of turn. You look back to Ubi, who you now realize his mouth is again is slightly hanging open, but with more intent, less like a feeble, almost like essence. And you realize you now didn't hear it kind of in the moment, especially with your heart racing, almost a faint whisper, almost like a call. Is you simply hear protect very lightly, or the only one who can hear it.
Protect?
Listening to the queen dragon.
I thought
Is
you
he
were gonna put her
looking
on
at
to something.
anybody, or is he just looking at me? Is he looking at?
He is kind of like he's like pretty much aimlessly looking this way.
So it doesn't look like he's looking at anything in particular.
No, it almost looks like he's like struggling to realize where he is.
So what are we gonna do, Zephyr?
Protect.
You're the
What
one that
does
started this
mean?
shindig. You said something's wrong upstairs.
What does that mean? I don't know what that
Do we
means.
need to split up? Do we fight here?
Then good, we gotta take care of this before we can bother taking care of that.
Are you sure?
Can I try to
Like,
connect with
'cause
Gerbu and like
distance
protect
was
what?
so long.
Or like listen? Can that be my action?
I'm really fast right now.
You can
So-
get up there fast enough.
Hold that thought while TQ finishes her turn. You could spend your action to interact with him. For the sake of with the way that you're doing this, I would allow you to do a survival check.
Protect what?
As effectively, you're more so trying to understand intuition rather than communicate with him. Is how I'm interpreting this.
I mean, I also have insight I could use if you want to do it for that.
Insight would be better, actually.
In this particular case, for the soul thing, I think it's more survival.
Yeah, no,
but
you're
for,
right. Insight's better for sure. We're gonna do insight.
22.
22. He's not talking about you, and he's not talking about him. That's all you got.
Shit.
You know that he doesn't seem to care about himself in this moment. He seems to be worried about somebody else, and you know that it's not you, as he seems entirely unfocused on you. The 22, the one thing I will give you is that his head does seem slightly cocked. Like he's almost like slightly looking up.
Do you guys need me here? Should I go bust the melee upstairs or do...
If you can get up there.
Protect up? Is there anything on the roof? It's up
Again,
to the
there
other
is no
room, right?
roof. It literally just goes. You can't
So
see
do we
it.
know if this goes straight up to the top floor?
You have no idea. It literally goes...
Does it look like it goes straight up to the top floor?
Goes into oblivion.
It literally looks like it just goes into darkness. It looks like it goes high enough to go to the top floor.
So when we were going down, does it look like we were going down a central shaft and there was just like a big thing in the middle that could have
You
been
were
hollow?
going down a spiral stake.
Just from my knowledge, does it seem like there could have been a centralized hollow shaft that goes all the way up to the top?
It's possible. You were definitely going down a spiral staircase that was around something, like a large pillar.
And there was no doors to go in. It was just a wall.
Not that you saw, but you could go up. 6th floor is not the top of the structure.
Right.
What you want to do?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can get up to the 6th floor.
It's up to you.
What are you guys doing?
Can you catch me if I fall? I have a pretty surefire way of stopping a big ritual.
By killing everyone else.
I don't know if I even have that. No, I do not.
Featherfall? Has anybody got Featherfall?
Hold that thought. It sounds like you know what you want to do.
So, I asked before. I was specifically looking around Zastaria with the key. Is there any keyhole?
Actually, do
around
it.
Zastaria?
So the vat actually has a keyhole built into it. So where each of these can be unlocked with a key.
Now that I'm a lot closer, is it this size?
The key looks like it might fit.
I mean,
yeah.
it's not. I have to cast it as a
Probably
reaction.
still cursed. So there has to be some way
I have feather
without
fall.
identify, because only wizards get identified and so on. And so
I'm also
forth.
probably going to be melee,
Stop
so.
talking over people.
How would I find stuff out magically if it's not an Arcana check? Because I literally can't get identify.
The answer would be through study, or that is the purpose of magic.
You can pick up a scroll of identify.
That would be another way. You can get an item that
I
would
could
do
literally
it, or
make
you'd
use
bring
of
it to a
identify.
magical caster.
Alright. So I wouldn't be able to find out anything about Zastaria's tube or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Other than the fact, well, actually, yes, you would, but that's because that isn't. This is alchemy,
Kane sit there in the showing.
and you can make an alchemy check.
I ain't an alchemist though.
You're not, so it would be very difficult to figure out what this is.
Fuck.
I'm glad you got it finally.
This is the importance of actually having someone in your group that has something like identify.
No!
I mean, you
Nobody
do.
else heard me.
Yeah, but he used
That's
his
pretty
action
funny.
to boom!
I mean, to be fair, you were talking over someone that I was engaged in conversation with.
I said Kane's the start, or Kane sit there in is showing.
Oh.
So the room kind of is shaped like this.
The room
First of all,
does
I gotta
kinda go
save
up like
my
this.
baby
It
girl.
is very
First of all,
gradual,
Kane would
though.
do this anyway, so
So it's not like this.
Would he though?
Yes.
Did you not see what I did with Serval's puppet?
Okay, I need to know what you guys are doing on your turns, or you're gonna lose
saying
them.
there's like there's 4 bats, right?
I was waiting for this shit to go
Okay,
down.
what are you doing?
You can go.
What are you doing? Go.
I think I
I wasn't even the closest one.
I will back up 20 feet
And the other one had
towards
Cobalt.
Zephyr-ish,
It's true.
towards the entrance point.
But we do know Staria more.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but we're literally here.
Alright, back up one more space.
Yeah.
And he has a dragon.
I'm gonna cast darkness.
Okay. It does work.
I think he's gonna
Okay.
Okay, I'm now going to walk up.
What's the radius on darkness?
Is a 15-foot cube of magical darkness.
Effectively, he has spawned a cloud around him.
And I'm going to then walk back up.
How much movement do you have?
40.
That's done.
Okay, and
And the
I'm
cloud goes
going-
away.
It's not concentration.
I'm aware.
I think it's a 60.
As you walk back up, you like walk out, and the smoke effectively just like spawns from you. You take a couple steps forward, and it seems to fade.
Okay.
As if something has suppressed the magic.
No, it's not concentration. It's so weird. Alright, I'll walk forward, and then I will use...
Bonus action, guys.
Bonus action... Misty Step teleport feature.
You can't.
Yeah, I can. It's a feature.
Misty Step is still a spell. It's a
It's
feature
not-
that allows you to
It's
use
a
spell.
class feature
Shadow
that does
Arcana
not
Shadow
allow
Arcana.
me.
the ability to teleport 30 feet.
It is not Misty Step.
okay,
It
it's
is
not
a.
Misty
It
Step.
is
He basically
is a class
travels
feature.
through the
Let's
shadows.
just confirm. Show me real quick.
It's like shadow step.
He
Okay.
steps into the shadow fell.
doing? Just click on species
Okay, it's
on your
fine.
character sheet.
That's fair. Yeah.
Just make sure it doesn't actually say. Yeah.
Granted.
He can just
You can
teleport.
magically teleport. It does not work.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
This is grief.
no magic effect It's specifically stated in the spell, no magic effect will work.
That's fucking grief.
It does not consume your bonus action if you have a different one you want to use.
Ugh.
Magic's not working. Friggin' Zephyr here's launching spells.
No.
What's going on the 6th floor, real quick, Zephyr?
I mentioned that there was a
massive necromancy spell going on
there's a
up
massive
there.
necromancy spell, and I'm pretty sure all the students up there are gonna get sacrificed.
And we want to stop it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't be good for us. And then that's why I was like. Then I was like,
And then he shot
We should
the
start
lightning.
things. We should start things over here. And then people started talking about feelings, and I'm like, fuck it.
So the goal is for you guys to knock out Razu. We'll take him captive. So we got to teleport out, and I'll stop the spell.
Yes.
Good.
Knock
Go.
out Razu.
I'm gonna try and make an alchemy check. I know it's not gonna work, but I still want to try.
Okay.
I assume it's just intelligence based.
As you do not proficiency,
Yeah,
yes.
13.
You are
I am
unaware.
proficient in an herbalism kit for what that's worth.
That does not apply here.
Okay, so the first part of me is I activate thing.
What's the total?
15. It's over 15.
Okay.
Pretty sure 15 is the check. So I start pulsing. I'll pulse once before since I get
It's at the so you get to start it. It's at the start of your turn, and then so this is a note for everybody. I don't think I've mentioned it to everybody. I did change how his worked a little bit. At the start of his turn, he chooses one effect that pulses out. So rather than it being that you get to choose, it's effectively Gurgle chooses it, and it's on his turn.
So it only worked at the start of his next turn.
No. You said I could determine when it casts. You said as long as I have it used.
At the end of his
Yes.
turn?
So it just has to be on your turn, though.
Oh, on your turn.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he can determine when he does it on his turn. So he could move and then he could do it. But the important thing is not everyone gets to choose the effect. He chooses the effect that pulses out. That made more sense thematically, and it was really, really broken. So
You already moved, right?
I haven't done anything.
Technically, in
So
action.
it's
is
either
what
a
he's
healing
done,
pulse or an
And everyone only
or a
gets
status element end.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just pulse and I'll give him back his 7th level spell.
Woo! I like 7th level spell slots.
I'm gonna backflip up onto the wall and I'm gonna start climbing as fast as I can. Bonus action dash. Straight up.
How much movement you got?
Do I take level
Remember, he's hasted.
I'm hasted, so
Do I take level 2?
I am going.
So that's one extra movement. So you'd have 3 times your movement right now, because you're bonus action dashing, running, and then you have a hasted movement action. So it's 3 times your movement.
I'm 70 and then 70, right?
That's 3 charges.
You have 3 times your movement.
So 105.
So remember,
105
your speed is doubled, by the way.
105 is what I'm going.
Okay. So
But actually, I have a second action, so actually, I'll action dash.
no, the second action is using the hasted.
No,
it's not.
It's his speed is doubled, and then he does gain an additional action each turn that can be used to take
that
an
is-
attack.
So
dash,
he can
disengage,
basically
dash,
do it
dash.
4 times.
Also,
So it's 4 times.
Hold up. If you, it would get doubled, and then you would dash, which would use the double number, not your base.
Correct.
So 140.
Okay.
Wait, what's your speed
Worth
right
noting.
now? What's your
You
speed
make
right
it
now?
60 feet up.
That's off.
Wait, Paul, that doesn't make sense. What's your speed?
What's your base speed?
What's your base speed?
35. So we get
Double
doubled
to
for
70.
haste.
To 70.
35,
And then
70 times 4.
140. Yes.
70 times 4
140. That's literally what I said.
is
That's
280.
that's
Wait, wait.
280.
Sorry, it'd be times
doubled.
3. Because you move your movement of 70, then you dash 70 more,
And then you
Bonus
bonus
and then the
action
hasted
dash.
And
and
then
the
you get
hasted
action.
dash.
And then bonus action dash.
and then bonus
He's a
action
rogue.
dash. He's a rogue. So it's 4.
Yeah.
You used your bonus action to activate your aura.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
That's an action.
Oh.
Oh,
Either way.
Even still,
either
that's
way,
3.
it's still 3.
So it's
still
100
3.
and
210.
So 200.
But I have
210.
2 actions.
Wait,
It's 210.
That's still
210
210.
movement.
Bonus.
It's
It's
210.
70.
Yeah,
Dash,
it's
dash.
210. That's
Not
right.
everyone at the same
Dash,
time.
move.
Your movement 70.
Yeah, dash move.
That's your movement. Bonus action because you're a rogue. Action or hasted action. So it's 3 times.
Yeah, yeah.
210.
Yeah.
You make it 60 feet up, and
I
you
said
immediately
140.
hear.
I would have said 140, but
You immediately hear. So I just want to know if this changes. As soon as you make it about 60 feet up in the room, you hear like a something grinding against stone. It's about 50
in the
feet. It's more of like almost off to the right of you, into the. Do you have the ability to see into magical darkness?
Up there?
Yeah, that's,
I can see magical darkness.
I could not see him in the dark.
Worth noting, you are running up into pitch black. With that being the case, are you just going to continue?
Question: does he emanate light with his thing?
Yes.
Because he's fire, right?
Yes, he does. Or he can choose to, technically.
Yeah.
Hiram, I have
So the sound, the crackling, the grinding is coming from above?
Just off to your side.
It's 60 feet up, and then you can hear it kind of echoing from around you. That is to say, it's about 60 feet in the air.
It's somewhere around you.
It's a goma spider.
Does it sound like anything specific? Is this?
It sounds like almost like claws grinding across stone.
I have to go. I have to keep going, right?
This is up to you.
Okay, so you want to just continue?
No, just keep
Okay,
going.
you just continue. I did hear you, and again, it goes up farther than you can see.
Fair, but you said it was like 60 feet up.
That he starts hearing it.
That he starts hearing it. It doesn't mean it's 60 feet up.
He effectively starts to hear the noise from all around him, about 60 feet up.
So is this blue barrier not all the way across, so you could go around it?
It's here to here, so you could try to jump over.
So how come Tiku didn't just go around it?
Because you would have had to jump over the trap, and she said that she ran to him, so you would have just taken the... Also, you didn't know the effects of it, so there's no reason to avoid it.
I will yell out as I'm going up, though. I will say, "There's something grinding up here. There might be something that's gonna drop on your heads, or maybe it's gonna follow me. I don't know."
Just keep an eye up there until something comes in within 120
So you technically used
feet.
your action.
And he's like, what's up there?
Okay. All right. Now it is their turn.
Wait, did we already do one round or?
This is round one, so that's where you're the guided bolt. That's
That
we
was
were.
loud. Long.
It was long. This is why I was saying that I was going to start skipping people. We didn't decide what we were doing.
Hopefully it chases you.
Okay. Does it chase you actually? No, absolutely not. Actually, thinking about no one. Okay, so first off, Squawk, is he kind of?
Can I add one dialogue to my turn too, while I'm running up?
Yes.
I dangle the key and I say, "Squawk, I bet you want this."
So he looks up at you as you like start to sprint up. All the problems solved today.
They brought to me everything.
Just a hunch.
Okay, so with that being the case, first off, Squawk, Izzy's in that hunched over position. You in front of him, Tiku, is well, for what it's worth, you are going to help your friend. This is going to technically count as an attack. He is going to use his bonus action to change his weapon into effectively a medical scalpel. That definitely hits. That's a natural 20 on the die.
Are you sure that hits?
Silver bars?
You take 2 points of damage.
He's not in range for me.
I mean, he's in range. I just can't use magic.
As you take the 2 points of damage, he slices you. He moves around you. Your blood now on the scalpel, and he kind of like just reaches out and puts it in Ubi's mouth, who kind of and almost seems to gain a little bit more of himself.
That's not sanitary.
As he like completely licks off the blade, as he almost in a hungrily kind of fashion. As he licks it, it slices through his tongue till you can see blood immediately starts to trickle off of through a trickle down from his mouth. As and his eyes almost seem to glaze golden for a moment before almost blending to a light blue, almost a platinum color. As Squawk now have blending these bloods together. He goes, "This is why I couldn't find it. It's not one. It's all of you. And you are the culmination."
I am the what?
Culmination.
Culmination?
As he kind of like takes it, as he takes the scalpel, he holds it close to him, and again looks at you. Thank you. And then he's gonna turn. You would have an attack of opportunity should you wish to do it.
Oh, yeah?
Murk that man.
30.
Sorry, Razu. Come on. Get that net 20. Do it.
Just complete one shot.
Not nat 20. Oh, that was so close though. Wait, you had keen.
She just needs a 19.
You do crit.
I do have keen. I forgot. Do I have keen?
The butcher's bib gives you a crit on 19.
I freaking brought that into existence.
Just the white one.
Do it.
Just the white one you said? What?
Do it.
I was mainly talking for myself. I need to know how much damage she does.
How rough does Raz's body look?
Pretty fucked up. He looks very hurt, in
Tiku's
fact.
gonna say, "Don't walk away from me."
Okay.
And she hits him.
While you're calculating that, for you, Kane, you being close to it, the kobold amalgamation in front of you seems to almost like and picks up its head and kind of like sits up a little bit. It is at the end of its turn that it happens, so it does not actually do anything, but it seems to start to move and get up. And then, lastly, this would not be impacted by TQ, this you would see as a larger hole that wasn't the first thing that you would have seen, about 70 feet in the air. Especially after Gurgle had pointed out and you started to look around, you noticed that you saw just a large red reptilian eye, specifically, that was looking directly at that spot.
At the spot in the middle?
Right here. As you see that large reptilian eye, and you expect you almost expect to see like a dragon, for example. Instead, the head of what appears to be a sheep dragging against the stone, just kind of, its mouth opened up like pincers as it kind of, as two large claws just, as this guy would crawl out of the hole. I'm going to put him right here to represent where he is. He's technically about 70 feet up.
Is that a sheep?
It is a...
That was a sheep.
That's part of what it was. As it effectively starts to crawl and just immediately kind of, and in a rapid motion, using each of these different pincers on its sides as effectively like pseudo legs, it effectively starts to down the wall towards you guys.
So did I do it at 250?
Jeebus, it's fast.
Plus your normal damage.
It is, so technically that's actually where it is. So it moves 60 feet down the wall to where it's 10 feet off. As it's sitting here, its eye still focused on that area. It turns towards, in this case, because of protect, it is going to turn and look at Zephyr.
It has a beholder eye.
Want to roll the D10
That's
for me?
why magic doesn't fucking work.
Want to roll the D10 for me?
Who, me? What?
Yeah, roll me a D10.
Why am I rolling it? Because I figured it out?
Yeah.
1.
One.
Plus your 15.
Zephyr, I need a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah. That is a 14.
That is a failure.
Sad.
Wait, how far away are you from me, Zephyr?
Okay, you are charmed by this
Close to you? Okay.
for an hour or unless it harms you.
Oh, God.
A friend has joined you for the fight.
Woo!
Nope.
As this creature
Oh,
falling
good.
down.
Someone I can trust.
It has 2 more. All right, it is. Yeah, you can go ahead and roll 2 more.
8
Okay.
Oh,
and
look.
7.
8 and 7, and it's alternating targets. So first one's on Zephyr. Second Gurgle is up the wall.
I mean, he's about to be not up the wall. Doesn't when haste end both of you become lethargic?
Just the target.
Oh, nice
So
to meet
honestly,
you,
just
Bab.
go down. So second one would be on our very
He skips
own,
over our doll. Bullshit.
He does skip over our doll. Our doll is an ally to him. Okay, so that is a dexterity saving throw. And then there's going to be the last ray on you.
On me?
Yes, you need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, man, I suck at those.
24.
24, that's a success.
Cocked.
I got my damage when you're ready.
Which one's second.
Not a whole lot better.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
What the fuck? You have a 12 saving throw?
I'm a paladin.
That is most unfortunate. As you are kind of focused on this creature kind of taking you almost by surprise, you look at it, find yourself looking into his eye, and just feeling kind of tired.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
All right.
I roll this.
Forgot I have inspiration too.
23.
That is a success. As you feel yourself start to become
What are you saving it
tired, sleepy even, but you're able to almost
Tiku's gonna down
kind of in a reaction bring yourself back to consciousness.
Puts him at roughly.
That's gonna be its whole thing. Damage.
I used 5 short rest die. And then to reminding me, we just max out the dive, right? I don't get to roll 2?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So 84 damage.
Okay, so that actually is going to change what happens there. As you slash into his
And
back,
I would have gone after his knees to take away his speed as well with my maneuver. I'm going for the knees.
okay, even more so. So what I'm going to say is you slash
land.
almost like the back of his knee as he kind of and almost like falls to one of his legs. As you slash him, hard. It almost is like it seems like it's a reaction as he seems to arch his back, and then he almost seems to straighten. As he kind of like leans forward and he goes, "What?" As you just woke up, Razu.
Oh, good. Nice.
Wait, is he at 1 HP?
As you look around the room, you're in a daze. You can there's blood that's kind of like trickling over your eyes. You see your friends lying dead on the ground. Tiku is currently on a table, almost picked apart, and it effectively ripped into pieces, experimented on.
This one?
You see.
This is Tiku?
You see Zephyr lying dead on the ground, scorch marks burned all around him, seemingly resembling a fire. You see Gurgle currently struggling, kind of like standing up, almost still looking to be alive, but struggling to stand up in the face of what appears to be a acolyte of sorts. So, with that, you get to play 2 characters now. Razu,
Fight myself.
Razu is hostile to the party.
What is his HP at right now?
You eliminated Squawk. Razu is fully rested and himself. Other than the fact that his weapon is currently a scalpel.
He also.
Can I change it?
Yeah, you just a bonus action to change it on your turn.
He's
But you've already gone this round.
He's also lowered his speed by 10 feet, or does that go away?
No, that stays. Your speed is actually reduced by 10.
It's only for a turn anyway.
And then lastly, I apologize, this is taking a second.
All right.
Lastly,
and I gotta say a thing real quick. Can I use my inspiration? I just forgot. I get it every long rest.
yeah.
I don't know if I'll save. Plus I get -2 anyways because I'm exhausted. So.
I'll say you still can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worse. Okay.
That's
yeah,
a natural one, so.
Okay.
Good use of inspiration.
You are charmed.
Hey, that happened to me too.
Okay.
Oh, look, my best friend, Bab.
Okay. Lastly,
second inspiration was
our
good.
doll kind of like looking about as you slash into it, and Razu, you seem to find yourself more of yourself. You do see a familiar face in our doll. What orders would you give to him?
What do the party look like?
They all look like acolytes. Specifically, they look like acolytes of Azoth.
Azoth assassins.
Yes.
You just came to yourself after an ambush where every one of your friends have been killed.
Also, for what it's worth, you have a sense of self-loathing. As Tiku opened up on the table, you know that you're the one who conducted the experiment. You felt as if you didn't have control, almost you were in the back of a room, operating, tearing apart the corpse of Tiku. Slightly contributing to what is a current madness affecting you.
You would see a slight tear come out of Razu's eyes.
Your back is to me, so I wouldn't actually see that. But someone else might.
I don't know. You.
Yeah, your side tear comes out
So
of
you can
Raz's
still
eye.
narrate it.
I would be looking at what I think is Tigu.
I'm sorry, Tiku. I couldn't save you.
He's like, I saw.
What do you mean I'm serious, sorry? Also, you didn't go down? What the fuck?
And it might not be today, but I will bring you all back. Bane, kill them all.
We are going to say in reaction to this as well. He does turn to you as you've seen Razu looking effectively roided out, but as you look at him, rather than having like the eyes that are like bloodshot with the veins going through, instead you can see his iris, and then his eye itself just seems to be red. And it's not like it's dyed; it is very much so. It looks like blood has completely interposed on him to the point that, as he said, he described himself as having tear. You see his blood is just trickling down from Razu's eyes onto his beak.
Ugh, okay.
The one last addition to that is as you hear him call out for Bane as well, you watch as he kind of like almost starts to convulse. With that is the end of the turn. Ardal looking over
Do
to
I
you.
not roll a religion check?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Ardal being the last one here, he's going to look around and goes, "That? Whoa, some squawk." He says, "Well, that's not the Razu I remember. I don't think this was in the instructions. And I don't like that." As Ardal is going to go over here, and effectively he's going
That is not Ardal.
That was Ardal.
Oh, that is Ardal, sorry. He is, so what you guys would actually see, so he would actually use air step. You would just and jump up to actually hit him.
Damn it! Don't hurt Bab. He's my best friend.
He is going to make. He's going to blood red his hand, so that is going to use bonus action, which means
Or Dolls helping this?
kind of.
Razu-
1 and a 2 to hit as he jumps up, air steps, and he goes to hit. And it isn't that he misses. The creature being extremely large, he goes to hit, and especially those close to him, you hear as he hits into this what is like the soft fur of a sheep, as you hear like hitting a carapace, as it like almost sounds like an echoed shatter as he hits the ground and like kind of shaking his hand. What the hell? As you look at his hand and his hand, what?
His hand is broken.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying the mic is broken. I was like, what? As you look at his hand, his knuckles are bleeding, and there's a green, almost like ooze, that is falling from his hand. And as he goes, "That's not fun at all." With that, it is now your guys' turn.
Question. For Razu, it was like action Bane. Did he still get a bonus action?
No,
You
it
didn't
just
have your turn.
Squawk used the whole turn.
Okay.
All right.
I have to ask. So, like, what's my conditions for making my turn, real quick?
You were just charmed by him. You are non-hostile
I'm just
to
not hostile to him. Everyone, all my other enemies are.
Yeah, everything else is normal. It's just
there's-
he's a friend to you.
Okay, so I just won't attack.
What other
him.
enemies
you
are
saw
there
Ardal attack
other
your
than
friend.
Razu?
All right,
That's true.
I'm gonna back up 40 feet.
Sorry, one sec. I want to read this real quick.
Are there? Okay, so what enemies do we still have?
Yeah, you simply cannot attack him or target him with any kind of magical or harmful magical effect.
What guy?
Okay, so you want to back up
That man
40 feet?
survived.
No, he didn't. That's the problem.
At the end of the turn, he, in a similar fashion to what you guys had seen on the carriage, seemed to almost like...
And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shoot Razu again. I'm gonna use luck point to give myself advantage. 27.
27's gonna hit.
It's definitely gonna
And
hit.
I'm assuming I'm being looked at by that eye.
You are... Yes.
I'm in that cone. Okay, so it's just a D10.
So the...
I thought the eye made sure you just couldn't do anything.
The cone is...
What? Right, but the bolt is gonna travel
Not
through that cone.
him?
The bolt would travel through the cone, yes.
So it's just a 6 damage.
Okay.
I'm confused.
6
Take
damage.
the 6 damage.
I'm confused. I thought the eye was the aura that made sure magic, like
That
anything he's looking at,
That
no
is
magic.
exactly what that is.
Then why didn't the magic fizzle out? That is magic. Cutting bolt is magic.
He didn't guiding bolt. He crossbolted.
You said crossbow? I thought you said guiding bolt.
No, he shot a bolt.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought that was
For what it's worth as well, this is where the eyes look.
Who's within 10 feet of me, by the way?
Kaio.
Kaio, just remember, you got +5 to your saving throws when you're within 10 feet of me.
Okay.
Does my first of all, does my magic work right now?
Nope.
Okay.
You are in.
So I just gotta think of my turn then.
Okay, Tiku's gonna be like,
Okay, Razu. You're gonna have to fight back.
and she's gonna use her action to jump and palm Razu's head with her other hand because she doesn't have her shield on because she's still disguised. And push the soul into his head.
Okay, so you jump up.
Grab his skull and then drag him back down to the ground.
Per the nature of what we're doing for you, you get to make a survival check, and then you are going to make a contested religion check against her survival. If she beats you,
can I use my own features?
No, this is to see if how her effect's working. Actually, that would just mean it's going to go against.
You rolled a natural one.
It would mean apologies. This would mean that it's going against your passive religion. Thinking about it, because she's doing the check against you.
Okay.
18.
That's not contested.
So what's your plus to religion?
What's your plus on religion?
10 plus 12.
You have 22.
You have a 22? What the fuck?
So survival was
I only rolled a 18.
18, and your religion beats the 18. So yeah, that means the check is a 22. And as you try to basically impart the soul into him, you realize while Razu doesn't necessarily seem to be fighting it.
Advantage? That's against Fey Fiend or
It's
Undead.
only if it's Fey Fiend or Undead.
Oh, okay.
Or if I use Genku Recall, technically.
It doesn't as much seem that the soul is rejecting it as that convulsion that he had. And as you get a little bit closer, you realize there's almost like the redness to his eyes is almost a slight red aura that's around him. And when you try to basically punch the soul through, that red aura acts as a barrier, and you are unable to actually basically bring that soul into contact with Razu.
Do you need help, Tiku?
Damn it, Razu.
That was Kaio, by the way,
Yeah.
not.
Can you make him?
I had to feel like a.
Can you get rid of this red aura?
Can any of us see the red aura?
It's not invisible, but it's hard to see. I'd say that you could.
I would go ahead and say, probably not. I could hit him.
So you can do so similar to the help action where you can impose advantage. You can impose disadvantage on a roll as well if you want to use your action to do so. If you do so,
Isn't it passive religion? Though?
so -5 to it. That's what giving disadvantage to a roll will do on a passive.
Like, what would I do? Cover his eyes? Oh, wait.
What would you do? Just be creative.
I got it. I know what I would do. All right.
Well, first, Tiku, bonus action or
Tiku's
movement.
going to action surge and try again, I guess.
I would say, wait.
Nope, can't intermingle turns.
Yeah. She gonna put her other hand on? Nope, still not.
Okay. Again, the aura seems the aura seems very hard to break through. The one thing I will say, for the sake of this, every attempt that you make is going to lower the DC by 1. So effectively, we're just putting the DC at 22
20,
based on his passive religion. So you've now tried it twice. The DC is going to be down to 20. I'm going to say it's going to lower by 1 down to a max or a minimum of 15. Okay. So with that is Tiku's turn. People. Oh, actually, you already went. So just these 4.
I'll go. Malvarith is going to jump and fly.
Actually, no.
Malvarith disappears.
As you attempt to give a command to Malrith, she kind of like looks over at you, kind of confused. And she goes, I must protect. And she's actually going to fly. So you just shot a crossbow at Razu. She's actually going to fly over to Clay Beekman, and so she would be coming over here. So
the anti-magic
she would
aura.
still. This is not magic.
No, Malrith.
Oh, this is true because she's. Yeah, no, she
dispels
she
herself.
actually would.
Does not dispel. She is suppressed until the anti-magic aura.
That is how it would work, but that is
she would
actually true.
re-pop-
So she
she'd pop back
effectively
in.
what you would see is she's confused and she seems to have sentience on her, but she effectively says, I have to protect and like almost resisting and just almost like a feral dog jumping at something that it was about to attack, jumps towards Clay Beekman, and what you guys would see is effectively just kind of almost into a fiery mist as it jumps into the
one other question
So
about this charm.
it looked like it was
How
angry,
strong is this
right?
charm? Like, how much am I friends with this creature now? Like, am I
so
willing to sacrifice
you would-
my own life?
No. You
for
would
them?
treat this as like a friend that you've known since childhood, but not like
Okay.
a best friend. It's just like you've been good friends. You
I'm
wouldn't
not putting my
sacrifice
life on
for
the
him.
line, but I'll try to like help out.
You'll
Yeah,
protect
you
him
would
as
definitely
best
you
you
would
can.
try to like help him
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Maybe not to the point that you'd like attack someone attacking
Another
it, but you
friend.
might be like, "Yo, chill," and like try and convince them that they're being a dick.
Did I need to make a saving throw of any kind?
No, you have not fully. You have not fully become a dragon.
Did it looked like she was gonna attack? But,
Oh, very much so.
okay.
You can go. I
for sure
So-
charmed the wrong person.
So,
by the way.
so how? I guess I probably wouldn't even know how deep.
So
How
just so
high
you
you're
know,
going?
each floor of this is about 15 feet. So if you're trying to go to the 6th floor, you're talking 90 feet. So you'd be talking about 90 feet up.
But also
You went-
we went into the basement. And I don't know how far down we went.
The answer is
There was
you
a one.
would still not be able to see the top of whatever this.
Well, I couldn't see anything. I'm in darkness. I don't-
That is also true. You would just
Right
be going.
now I'm listening. Right now I'm going and I'm listening for, and also trying to feel magical presence. Trying to feel if there's magic. And I'm trying to listen as well through the
For
wall.
the lecture. He's
Yeah.
trying to find the
To see if I
lecture.
can hear noises.
Make an Arcana check.
AKA someone being attacked by a bird.
Or perception. Or like people's
Feeling magic would be Arcana. If you're trying to listen, just so you know,
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, listening's gonna be way harder because there's the sounds of what's going on down here is echoing up.
And it's also through stone. So.
I mean, I probably would prefer Arcana.
Okay.
Also, I'm using. I assume I'm using my fire to like.
That's why
fire presence to kind of like enhance, because I'm assuming that this is not a natural casting of
this
magic.
is why I'm
And
actually
I think my primordial would probably not like necromancy.
that's actually the only reason I'm letting you attempt it.
So I'm trying to utilize that.
Mhm.
I'm like trying to lean on that a little bit.
Arcana, sir. We're taking way too long with this. 19.
No pluses start.
As you've effectively sprinted
Oh, I'm
climbing
going
up this,
down. Yeah, I'm still going down.
you very much so can feel, similar to how Tiku had sensed almost souls surrounding her, you can feel magic that seems to be falling. Almost all around you. That seems to be falling down from above you.
Still above me.
Yep. With that, you're doing the same thing where you're just going.
I will use.
Wait. No, you succeeded. You didn't fall asleep. Okay.
I will use one of my 2 actions again to try and prep the fire in case it
So that would mean you can't dash, or you lose a dash because you're using your action
Yeah, so it's
to
just
Arcana,
210.
and then your bonus, and then your.
Oh, okay. Then it'd just be 140.
Yes.
So it'd be 210 and then 140.
That would actually get you to the top.
I failed. I didn't get it.
Okay. As you'd make it to the top at 150. It's 150 feet up. Is how far you have to go. When you consider like diagonals, you're probably looking at like 160 feet of movement. So yeah, as you get to the top, effectively,
But the 6th floor wasn't the top.
I know, 15 feet.
But that's where the magic is coming from?
As you get to the top of this, you finally now have vision again. As you seem to, saying you get to the top of the darkness. As you break through the top of the darkness, you're in about a 10-foot wide, almost like column. Looking, You've gotten to the top of it, and there is a magic seal. It's like you're in a well. There's a magic barrier that is over it, and you can see 4 individuals that are also currently in the middle of a spell that are you can like see them on the edges of the well that seem to be casting this. It's the same spell, even though you technically wouldn't have known which one they were casting. He's casting the same spell just over this well.
Well, I would probably stop so that I'm still in the magic darkness for now. Then.
Okay, so you'd stop like right on the edge of it.
Yeah, and then I'd wait until my next turn to do whatever, because I'd be out of actions and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna move, and then I'm gonna use my action, and I want to cast Dispel Magic on Razu. I'm not trying to dispel his magic. I'm trying to suppress the aura that I'm seeing.
Okay, go ahead and roll. This is considered 10th tier magic.
Why?
Or can it just give me advantage on my thing?
If he rolls high enough, it will. A 21 actually is enough. So actually, not only would that, so that would actually completely remove the aura for the time being. So effectively, you'd be suppressing it for a single round. So yeah, you would actually watch as you being next to it, Tiki, that aura surrounding him almost seems to dissipate entirely.
Basically, you would see Kane behind Razu. He basically runs up and basically clasps his hands and almost forces him and then slams his hands together as a fiery cage envelops Razu and almost dragging the red aura off of him.
Okay. That's his turn. Mikaio cool. And Zephyr.
What? Zephyr's really confused right now because he's like, I can't do anything.
I'm also gonna not
Razu's still your enemy.
And he doesn't want to move closer to anyone.
I still think that's
Razu's
block.
still your enemy.
Indeed.
Cast spells.
I wouldn't even know what he would be
He's
doing.
in the eye of his friend.
Bay is your friend.
Bay is protecting him.
Why not just walk to the side?
That's why he's putting the eye on him to like take away his magic. He's like, I'm in a protection zone, but I'm sealed away.
Bab, I can't help you if you keep looking at me.
Because you can't walk yourself.
I wasn't sure like what the.
Use my one die.
Like,
It's just a cone.
well, but like, do we know?
30.
Hiram literally said
Go
that.
25.
What, like we can see it visually?
Do we see like his eye light?
Jump on top
You've
of that.
seen multiple people try to cast spells that it's looking at, and they can't.
Yeah, I jump on top of the gate.
You also saw Malric.
I guess I don't know the radius, and I don't want to move closer.
Yeah, then move one away from the eyeball, just to make sure I'm clear of it. Then, I'm going to bonus action. I'm going to bonus action use Blessing of the Raven Queen to teleport 30 feet in the air, then fall on him and shank him.
Okay, so you'd be running up here, and then you would watch as he kind of.
No, Bab!
Also, I would assume my darkness would envelop me again, right?
Yes.
I specifically put the darkness in front of his eyeball.
And it immediately disappears again.
It immediately disappears.
It
You should've put
immediately disappears.
behind his head, behind the like.
I was maybe thinking.
Put it on his ass. He can't see his ass.
Now you just gotta like pull something out of your bag and just cover his eyes.
Apparently, yeah.
Anyone got some duct tape?
So it just so you know, it's literally an anti-magic field.
No magic.
So any magic that goes in front of it is disabled or dispelled. Not disabled, it's suppressed.
Okay,
Take off your shirt.
we're gonna check my inventory real quick.
It doesn't matter. You already told me what you're doing. You're using your
Bag of
action.
devour.
You're falling under a stabbing. That is your action.
All right.
You've already told me what you are doing.
Okay. The first one is a crit
Why are you rolling with advantage?
because of enmity. Enmity.
What does this do?
It is a paladin oath of vengeance. Whenever you make an attack on a creature, you can just have advantage for like 10 minutes or until you down the 1 minute or until you down the creature or you get downed yourself.
What do you do to activate it?
You attack.
I thought it was a bonus action.
No, it is a free action that you use when you attack.
It's one of his channel divinities.
It costs a channel divinity.
Okay.
All right. All right, carry on, carry on.
It costs anything. I think
It's another crit.
You shouldn't have 3 attacks.
Nick.
Yeah, roll that one for sure.
You only have 2 attacks.
I have Nick.
He's dual wielding.
Paladin gets extra attack, and he is Nick.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
What is Nick?
It effectively
Nick
makes you
is
can
a
dual.
weapon
It's the
trait.
new dual wielding thing.
Yeah.
And then you can enhance
light
it.
weapons, you can attack with both of them as one.
So 29 to hit on the last one. That wasn't a
29
crit.
hits.
Okay.
So if like you're using 2 daggers.
Someone can go next. I gotta calculate damage. Are we doing d6s for fall damage or d10s?
And it doesn't do.
It's a
bonus
d6,
action
but you take it too.
It doesn't take your bonus action.
So you do 3d6, and that does not get crit.
Light weapons.
What?
Fall damage does not get crit, so it's just 3d6. You and the creature would take it.
He's resistant to it also.
I'm resistant to it, and I have slow fall on monk. So I use my reaction.
If you have
to take
slow
zero
fall,
damage.
then you don't.
No, because it's monk. It's not actually making me fall slow. I can use my reaction to reduce the damage on
The
me.
damage, yeah. It's a reaction.
Effectively, he's
I
rolling.
use
off
my
the fall.
reaction. He takes all the fall damage. I'm effectively going to take 0.
He's gonna roll to like. fall
But
down.
you know, the idea behind it is you're dispersing it amongst yourself so you don't take damage. That would do the same thing to the person under you. It's kind of like the idea if you fell straight into the floor and you just hit and you got really hurt and you went through the floor, or if you rolled and you didn't get hurt, but you also wouldn't damage the floor.
The counter-argument to that is that he's transferring the force into the creature. He's taking no damage by transferring it all into the creature.
I'm actually okay with that
You
argument.
can do that, yeah.
Okay, so someone else can go.
I mean, it's just use ever.
I will try to scoot back and see if I get the ability to cast spells.
So it's a 60-foot cone.
Because I don't want
I
to.
tried looking for the cone.
Because I don't want to move closer to Razu because that's how I die.
It's right here, guys.
Oh.
What the? It's literally in front of my
Yeah,
face.
there's no shot I avoid it.
23.
Yeah, no,
He's where he's looking.
yeah. Bab, I can't help you if you keep looking at me. I don't do anything.
Zephyr just moves back and he's like, "Bro."
I'm not suiciding into freaking Razu.
Okay.
If he decides to run at me.
I know he's not going to kill it, so while he's calculating damage,
So you can't even shoot anything into that space?
Well, I'm just disabled right now.
Magic field.
I know, but if you shot something at Razu, would it just disappear?
Correct.
Yes.
Because it would pass through the anti-magic field.
Yeah, because you're
magic
in it right
would
now.
dissipate.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
just
so-
can't.
How'd the
cast
first
it.
lightning bolt work?
Because it's not passing through it, it's detonated at a point. So he's not
Actually,
casting
that's not
through it.
That
It would pass through it,
It would
but
have to
because it
pass
was
through it.
looking at Razu and Zephyr was over here, he shot to the side.
It still would have worked technically because the answer there is because he was up looking down right
Yeah,
here.
that's
he was
what I-
right here and went right there.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
its cone would have been basically like this.
He barely missed it.
There's a spotlight.
Yeah. It would have worked. I was thinking about it when he actually used it because I was like, ooh, it is no. Yeah, it's because he was at an angle and he was looking down rather than now he's down here. He's looking out. Okay, so at the start of this, unfortunately, or
thought-
fortunately for me, I guess.
I thought about going after freaking Clay with my quarterstaff. If I was like zealot, like.
If you
But nope, I wasn't.
didn't quite roll high enough, as you rolled so I rolled a d4 to see how long Aerith's
just
little
like how bad it
shenanigans
was? Okay.
delayed this. I rolled a 2, so it delayed it for 2 rounds. With that being the case, this is the beginning of turn 3, as Aerith would effectively send a message back to you. Effectively, it'd
She's
be like
still alive.
No, it'd be a quick apologies as the connection breaks.
Oh, okay.
As the connection breaks, funnily enough, by one of the students who was upset that you were attacking the lecturer. And then this spell would actually go off. So you, Gurgle, would be the main one who would see this first, as the 4 individuals complete the spell and actually cast that green almost field, just kind of that circle, and it just shoots down. Effectively this well that leads into the laboratory basement. And as the magic would pass over you, you need to make I believe it's a wisdom saving throw? It is a wisdom saving throw. And then this does happen in an instant. It technically envelops the entire school. So everyone would need to make a wisdom saving throw, including Ardal, actually. Ardal got a natural 20. Ardal is just fine. DC is a 13.
Right. It is 126 damage. Do you need the separate damage types?
Or is any of it poison?
No.
Then no.
And what kind of save is it?
It's a wisdom saving throw, DC 13.
I got 13.
Success.
21.
21, success.
29.
29, success. What'd you get?
Done.
Girl?
9.
Yikes. Wisdom saving throw?
Over 13.
Gurgle needs
25.
25, success.
10.
Who was that for?
Me.
Oh, yeah, because he has plus.
Kyle. Oh, I'm doing Razu.
Roll for Razu as well.
Is it magical effect?
Oh, wait.
This is a magical effect.
Do we get.
Only if you're within 10 feet.
Close.
Only if you're
We're
within
within
10
10 feet.
He got like a 20.
No, it is
Actually,
10
he's
feet
probably
from
currently
him.
spread.
So, Gurgle
Hang
and
on.
Kyle are the only ones who failed this, right?
Question, just out of curiosity. He's in the anti-magic zone,
My
right?
my aura,
So
I don't
beacon?
believe is magic. It's just
Yes.
Would that
essence.
suppress his paladin aura?
Would that also suppress
Is
this
it-
effect?
Is it magical? Okay, yeah, I'll go look at the wording, but
No, it just says I radiate a protective aura within 10 feet.
yeah.
I would
this is-
also.
I would say no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
No
only
to
reason
the
I said that
aura,
his
but-
doesn't work is because it literally
But
says
what about-
magically
Yeah, yeah.
teleport.
What about the spell, though?
Sorry, one more time.
What about the
Which spell?
necromancer
That's
spell?
actually what I was just barely thinking.
Yeah.
But they passed anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, Clay
Um,
failed. No, Gurgle failed.
Gurgle
That's right,
failed.
that's right,
Clay
you're right.
Beekman and
You're right.
Yeah.
Clay Beekman and Zephyr would actually not have had to roll. As this field kind
This
of
is the animal
Through the-
For
roll?
what it's worth,
The sheep, yeah.
Zestari is in the anti-magic field, so
um,
she also doesn't need to roll.
they're all in anti-magic fields actually inside the tubes. The sheep does need to roll, and he succeeded.
Imagine
The
the
sheep
fails.
succeeded. What is this sheep? The sheep
Good job, Bab.
abomination.
He's Bab until I'm not charmed anymore. Okay.
This is your punishment for charming Zephyr.
At least he wants to make, or Jasmine wants to make memes with this Bab now.
She's gonna draw fan art of Zephyr and Pat.
Of this abominate, dude. This thing is creepy.
just best friends.
Like this
Bab
thing
just
is
carrying me
terrifying.
in
Um,
its humanoid arms that are,
That
that are
is-
extending from the bottom of it.
Dude, this thing is so creepy.
In like
Can
a field
I-
of flowers.
1 second. Okay, so it's 74 points of necrotic damage. It's half as much if you pass, except for you two, because you are in the anti-magic field, so you guys would not take any damage.
Did you point to me as well?
Yes, Clay Beekman and Zephyr would not take any.
4 halved is 37.
Yes. There's necrotic damage.
Does the sheep take it?
Kind of.
Well, I guess it didn't matter if I passed. Really?
That kobold dies again.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. So you kind of like just back down. Okay. With that, as you guys feel that field, for you, Gurgle, you're looking at these 4 people casting the spell. As soon as they cast the spell, all 4 of them kind of, and you just watch them collapse on the outside of it, and just all fall. And then Kane, you'd be the first one to notice this.
37 half.
As that green circle in the middle of the room that seems to be emanating that blue pool, just and starts to rapidly expand and spread to the point that you can actually, as it starts to expand and spread, you can actually see that it very much so seems to almost be opening up a gate as you look inside, and you can see what appears to be almost this almost like ethereal tunnel. And looking down into this pit, or this like almost ethereal portal, you kind of like, what the heck? And you look as you just see dozens upon dozens of different homunculoid creatures that are rapidly just crawling up the sides of what is now this fully opened portal. And that is where we are going to end for tonight.
We need to get Bab to look at it.
Can I?
We will be.
Quick question. Do we level
No.
up?
Can
We're in the
he
middle of a
roll-
fight still.
Wait. We're going to be ending here for tonight. We'll be ending mid-combat, so we'll have to pick this up next week, as this is probably going to be going for a little bit. We appreciate everyone that hung out. Appreciate the raid. I did see that. I was in the middle of something, so I didn't have a chance to acknowledge it. But yeah, appreciate everyone hanging out, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday. Have a good night, guys.
Bye bye.